After Ralph called cut, he just kept staring into me. He just kept staring into my eyes, dude. And I was like staring at him back in character. Like we were just staring at each other, and it felt like an eternity, dude. I felt like the clock was ticking like tick tock, like so slow, you know?
Cobra Kai.
Kidding.
Bonsai, I am the Cobra Kai Kid, and today I am joined by Brandon H. Lee, who plays Kwon in Cobra Kai Season 6. Brandon, thank you for coming onto the channel. How are you doing today?
What's up, man? Thanks so much for having me. I said it before we were rolling, but I've been a big fan of your show, so I'm honored to be here. It took you a while, but I'm here. I'm just kidding. But no, seriously, thanks so much for having me, and I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing good too. Thank you. I'm really excited for this. Yeah, I know it took some time, but here we are. Got this season, like, you know, it's been out for about a month now, so really got to send it. Thank you for the kind words about watching my channel. That's pretty cool. So thank you. Congratulations on everything. How does it feel? Part 1 is officially out of the world. Like, what does it feel like finally getting those first 5 episodes out there?
Thanks, man. Yeah, huge thank you. I think now it's finally like soaked in. I think I've done a few interviews by now, and like ever since the trailer dropped for like the next 3 weeks, I was just riding adrenaline, and like everything felt like a dream, dude. I was just like waiting for someone to wake me up from this crazy dream, you know? But I think it's finally like starting to hit me now that holy crap, I'm actually a part of this show, you know? So it's super surreal. The Cobra Kai fans are like literally the best in the world. I've said it a million times, but like the Cobra Kai cast, like the OGs, they always told me like, you know, they're like, our fans, they're crazy in the best way possible. Like they are the best. And I was like, yeah. And then when it came out, I was like, oh my goodness. Like, no, Cobra Kai fans are literally the best. And I've just been overwhelmed with all of the love. And so I'm super grateful, man.
Yeah, I'm so happy for you because I mean, like, as someone who, you know, I'm like always posting stuff and sharing content, and like the Kwon comments, the Brandon is a badass comments are just like next level. I mean, I'm sure you've been seeing all of them, right?
Dude, I've never felt so old in my life, man. Like, cause I got off TikTok for a bit, and then I was sent like so many TikTok edits, and they're using all this lingo like Kwon has aura, and I'm like, what?
What does that mean? I don't even know what
You don't
that
know what that
means.
means either? Okay, good. I don't feel old, man. Okay.
No, I'm with you. I'm not really on TikTok.
I think it's just like an energy, like a badass energy, I guess. But they're like define aura, or like, bro, what is aura? And they're calling me like the Aura King and stuff, which I'm honored. But I'm like, yo, thank you, but like, what does any of this mean? You know? But I've had people explain it to me. I was on Dallas's stream. Shout out Dallas. I was on his Twitch stream, and he gave me the whole like lingo breakdown because he kind of understands it all. So thanks, Dallas.
Yeah, no, the comments have been like so fun, and like, you know, I don't know if you've been seeing these comments. I just think it's the funniest thing.
Oh.
I mean, obviously you're a Taekwondo martial artist, black belt in real life, so like, you know, a ton of the comments were the only thing like saving Miguel and Robbie is plot armor. It's like they stand no chance.
Yeah, dude, there's been some really funny stuff out there. Also, what cracks me up is like actually Sholo, Jacob, and I talked about it on their Lone Lobos podcast. But they'll see some content that's not Cobra Kai related, and they'll be like, yo, Miguel's not locked in. This is why he didn't get captain. Or like for me, it's like if they look at my old content where I'm like very different from Kwon, they're like, Kwon's not locked in, dude. Why aren't you training for the Sekai? And I'm just like, bro, like I'm Brandon, like playing Kwon. Like I don't walk around with that hairstyle every day. You know what I mean? Like, it's funny
Dude,
though.
it is crazy, like, I mean, talking to you right now,
Uh-huh.
and then, like, you know, like, if someone were to watch this interview, you know, having not seen the show, they watch this interview, they see you,
Yeah.
and then they watch the show, like, I mean, you just, like, you flip a
Yeah.
switch. Like, you're smiling right now, you're a nice guy, and then in the show, like, total badass, like, how did you
Thanks, man.
get in that, like, mentality of, like, you know, I mean, like villain? Can we say villain or misunderstood, complex?
Yeah. I don't think he's a that's like I feel like Marty says that all the time. I don't think he's a villain.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Um,
I know what you mean.
I
Yeah.
mean, no, let's just like let's call a spade a spade. He's definitely, set up to be the villain, right? But I think as an actor, you can never judge your character, so otherwise it's not going to be true, So there's definitely a lot
Mhm,
that I resonate with Kwon, even though people might find that hard to believe because I feel like I am very different from him. There's also a lot that, a lot of similarities as well. I think the biggest thing you know, that I resonate with is the feeling of the need to prove myself. I've
mm,
said it as times before, but this is like my first like acting role, like professional acting role. I'd done short films and stuff in the past, but in terms of like professional acting role. So it's been a long journey to get to this point, and I've always kind of had that chip on my shoulder to want to prove myself, and I feel like that's all what Quan is. He just wants, like, the way we go about it is two completely different ways. Like, Quan is like, very savage in the way he does it, but the feeling of that is very, very real to me. So I honestly think, like, I think now was like the best time to play that role as my first role, because that's such a real feeling I had. I don't know if, like, if I had done it like 10 years later or whatever, if I would have had that same like performance or that same edge to him. Who knows? Maybe I'll just have to ask myself 10 years later from now. But like,
mhm.
I think that was a very real feeling that I you know led with, and it just kind of like came out, with obviously with the big three's guidance, John, Josh, and Hayden, and Ralph especially. Episode 3 was all Ralph Macchio, so he really guided me to and made me feel comfortable to be able to let that out. So yeah, shout out to them.
Yeah. I love that. I love how you were able to connect with Quan on that level. What do you feel like, you know, in your life, like when you are referring to like relating to him with like wanting to prove yourself, like with what are you referring to? Is it acting? Is it martial arts?
Yeah, I think it's all of it. I think in this business we're always just trying to, do it's a hard business as actor. It takes a long time to finally, get your big break, if you even get your big break. It's there's so much luck. Yes, there's a lot of hard work that goes into it, but there's a lot of luck. And I think the biggest thing for me was about 3 years ago now. I got into this business always wanting to act, but I was fortunate enough to do my first professional work was always stunts. So I did a couple movie and stunts, and after about, like I said, 3 years ago, I did my last movie as a stunt double, and I learned so much from it. But it was also reassuring that I was like, oh, I'm more passionate about the creative side of creating a character more than like the action side. Yes, I love the action side, but there's so much more to stunts than just action. There's like fire burns, there's high falls, there's stunt driving, there's all this stuff that like I would never want to do because I I don't have the guts to do that, and I'm not passionate enough for those things. So
Mhm.
it was like reassuring that I'm like, dang, I really need to go all in on this acting thing. And I there were so many close times. I made it to the final round of auditions for that big break, and I just didn't get it. And I just always had that feeling like, dang, if only someone would give me the shot. Like, I feel like I can do it. I have the ability, but I feel like I'm not getting a shot. And then, you know, blessed by Cobra Kai, John, Josh, and Hayden didn't sleep on me, and the amazing casting directors, they didn't sleep on me, and they saw the tape and they liked it. And you know, they gave me a shot. So it's something I'm forever grateful for, especially, a show like Cobra Kai that has a 40-year amazing legacy, such a huge part of pop culture. It's been an inspiration for my life, my whole life, as a lifelong martial artist. It's since the Karate Kid movies has always inspired me. I've been a fan of Cobra Kai since season 1, so it's absolutely surreal, man. So I'm super honored and blessed to be here. I don't even remember what your question was, but yeah, I hope that answered
I know.
it.
No, that was perfect. I was just enjoying your answer.
Thanks, man.
Um, I now I had like a follow-up
Yeah, yeah,
question. Now
yeah.
I'm like now I'm blanking out.
No worries.
Dang
No
it.
worries, no worries. I feel that,
Okay.
I feel that. That happens to me all the time.
I like had it right there. It was about oh yes. So okay. So when you were saying that, like, you wanted to transition from being a stunt double to and doing like stunts to acting and combining the stunts. So like Cobra Kai, like I mean, was this like the perfect role for you in mind? Like because where you're literally front and center on camera, you're doing your own stunts. Like, is this like what you were envisioning for yourself?
Dude, it's crazy. I think, I don't know, have you read or listened to Ralph's autobiography book? I forgot the
Yeah,
title of
yeah.
it, but,
Waxing
yeah,
on.
Waxing On, of course, how did I forget that? But I remember he said something along the lines of like, as an actor, you will book every single role that is meant for you. And if you don't book it, it just wasn't meant to be. I'm probably butchering it, but it was something along the lines of that.
Mhm.
And I remember after the first day of shooting, I was just like lying in bed, just like high on adrenaline and just like super excited for the next day of shooting. And it just hit me like, dang, it feels scary how perfect this felt, like this role. It almost feels like it was written for me, you know what I mean? And it's like, it's crazy. I think just it's any actors out there maybe listening to this, just know that, I feel your pain when you feel like you never are getting your shot, but somehow it'll find you at the right time. I've said it before. I actually auditioned for Cobra Kai, I think season 1 or 2, and it was the biggest blessing that I didn't book it.
Oh my god.
I wasn't ready for it. I don't even know what role it was. It was one of my first auditions when I got into acting, and I was probably the worst audition ever. And it's like, even if it wasn't, and if I had booked it, I would have totally rather played Kwon. Like, it's crazy how, everything
Mhm.
happens for a reason. But no, man, for sure. I think it is something I still think about to this day, and it just makes me feel really grateful to do what I do and have this opportunity. And yeah, I mean, being able to do, express with my martial arts as my first role was something huge. I actually, at first, I actually didn't want to book a role action related because I didn't want to get
Mhm.
typecasted as that at first. But Cobra Kai has actually helped me embrace that side of me. I think I've tried to deny that side of me for a while because I wanted to go all in on acting. And I've done martial arts literally my whole life. I don't have a single memory without having martial arts in my life. So it's like, it's just unrealistic to try to push it away. It's a part of who I am. So yeah, man, I think it's just perfect, and I'm really grateful for it. I did, full disclosure, I did do a lot of my own stunts, just like all the other actors on the show. But that stairfall was all my stunt double, Dante Ha, big brother
Mhm.
Hyung. Dante Ha, he was one of the senseis in season 5, that fought Johnny at the end. So
Yeah.
I got to give credit where credit's due. I think a lot of people might think because I come from the stunt background that I quote unquote don't need a double. Even if an actor does all of their own stunts, it's like we can't discredit our doubles. Our doubles do so much work behind the scenes that nobody knows about. They are the ones that literally have a huge say in choreographing the fights. They have a huge say in teaching us the fights, and they're pretty much babysitting us and making sure we don't get hurt on set and are like giving us notes. So, um, I just want to give credit where credit's due. I don't want people to think like, oh, because Brandon came from stunts, he does 100% of his stunts. No, that's definitely not true. But yeah, sorry for the long answers, but yeah, I hope that answers your question. Yeah.
No, don't apologize. I love it. And I mean, I think it's great hearing that from you because like of course you appreciate the stunts because like you were there. You were doing it yourself. So now you're like on the other side of it where you have your own stunt guy.
Yeah.
So
Dude, it was funny, man, because Dante is Korean and he's like big brother, like Hyung in Korean is we call him Hyung. Like it felt so weird for me that he was taking the hard hit for me. I'm like, dude, I feel like I need to be taking it for him. Like you know what I mean? Like it's like he's big bro. Like I'm the little bro. I gotta take the hard hits. But like he did it like a champ. He kind of had a joke for me. He's like, "Oh, you're my acting double." You know what I mean? Like it was kind of funny. But no, he was amazing, and I he actually helped me a lot, like figure out the physicality of Kwon. When he showed me that fight,
mm,
he wasn't just showing me choreography; he was embodying Kwon, and I was like, "Whoa, I'm gonna take a little piece of that, and then take a little piece of that." So like, yeah, I wouldn't have been able to do it without him for sure.
yeah. I mean, well, that's what's so cool about the show. It's not just like, oh yeah, well, we're gonna do this punch, we're gonna do this kick. It's like each character has their own style, and I personally don't know too much about martial arts, but like just like I think it just adds like a layer of like realism to the show, and it's just cool because it
Yeah,
makes each character unique. So yeah, so like what went into the coming up with Kwon's fighting style? Because you also had Ken and Don,
yeah,
the fight coordinators.
yeah,
So like can you just talk about how you collaborated with them
yeah.
and coming up with Kwon's style of
Yeah,
fighting?
for sure. I mean, you know what's amazing? Why Ken and Don are so amazing is even if you're not a martial artist, you can still tell each character has their own style. You know what I mean? Like they
Yeah.
make it so clear to you, even though you have no clue what anything about martial arts, you can still tell, oh, this person likes to do this person does this, so like that's just goes to show how amazing they are at what they do. And that's what made me really excited to work with them. And like, dude, like I feel like as actors, when you get the script, a lot of times the character's lines tell you you learn so much about the character just the way it's written, you know? I
Mm,
feel like that's the same with how the stunt team choreographs fights. Once I saw the movements that they had choreographed for Kwon, I was like, whoa, I know who this guy is. Like, literally, they're putting in movements where he's not blocking a kick. He's literally punching, hammer fisting their leg. You know what I mean? Like, who
yeah,
the heck
yeah.
does that? Like, that tells you so much about
Yeah.
someone. And I remember specifically, the part where Quan punches Yoon in the neck. I was like, hey, Don, can I actually do like a throat chop? Because we have a move like this in Taekwondo and I wanted to pay homage in it. And he's like, yeah, no, that's cool. But when have you ever seen someone just straight up punch someone in the throat? And I was like, dude, you're right. Like that tells you so much about who this guy is. Like that's so
Yeah.
savage to straight up punch someone in the freaking throat. You know what I mean? So no, it told me so much, and it actually like it. I think I had I had ideas of how I wanted to play this character, but it really from all the departments and the collaboration of everyone, I felt like this character was created during episode 3. Like, I had the accent down, I was working on that. Obviously I've had, martial arts experience, but in terms of like a lot of the swagger came from like, the moment I saw myself after Kevin did my hair, I was like, okay, this is telling me a lot about this person. Seeing the choreography, I was like, okay, he is the definition of no mercy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So all these things, and then obviously the amazing writing, and then the way Ralph was guiding me, and all of this and that, it was just like, whoa, this is telling me so much, and it really made my job feel effortless. It just all my job was is just to embody what everything, everyone was doing. So it really was like, it made me extra excited to be like, oh, this is why I love doing this, because it's the collaborative effort of everyone. It's not just the actor that creates the character. It's literally every single department, from the hair department, the costumes, the directors, writers, literally everyone, PAs, production assistants. It's like everyone. So yeah.
Yeah, it's like a bunch of like puzzle pieces that come together to form the big puzzle.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
It's like you need every
Yeah,
piece
if there's
to
one
bring it
missing
together.
piece, it's just like the picture's just ruined.
Yeah, yeah, no, exactly. There's no picture.
Yeah,
It's like there's something off about it.
yeah.
And I like absolutely love what you were talking about with the fighting and how like it's not just like look, I'm sure when they were writing, it was like, yeah, we gotta get Kwon a fight scene. Like we need that. But it's also like story purpose. It's like he needs to, prove himself and take control and show that he's the best of the best,
Mhm,
which was quoted a couple times. So and I love that your ideas about, certain moves like punching him in the throat, like it not only is it like cool to watch and fun to watch, but it makes you learn about this character. And like, I mean, there's the expression like, you shouldn't kick someone while they're down. Like for Kwon, it's like he was just kicking them like
of course they kick
I
'em while they're down.
he literally kicked them while he was down. I honestly, that final kick to the head when you did that freaking flip, I thought you killed it. I thought you killed Yoon. I thought you killed him. I'm not kidding. I'm not like I was like, couldn't you have died? Like that could have.
Dude, you know what's crazy is I accidentally actually, like, everyone actually thought I killed him, like, on set, because I accidentally Daniel Kim took it like a champ. I accidentally kicked him. Thank goodness it wasn't my kicking leg. It was my non-kicking leg, and I hit him on the way down on his back, like his upper shoulders.
Oh my
If
god.
I like, I don't even know how I didn't hit him with my kicking leg, if I hit him with that, but yeah, no, literally everyone heard a boom, and like that's the take you see, and like,
That was the take they used?
yeah, and the timing, it looks ridiculous. And I just remember like the biggest thing I learned from stunts was, if there's a real hit and it wasn't supposed to be a real hit, do not break character. Do not break character till they
Mm.
say cut. So I just remember I just boom, and I was like, oh shoot, I hope he's not dead. In my mind, I was like that, but then I was like, yeah. And then I improvised picking up that patch, and then I was like, "This is mine." I spit on the ground, and then I walked away.
Dude.
And then they said cut, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, Daniel, I'm so sorry." And I walked up, and he was like, "Oh, I'm fine, I'm fine." He took it like a champ. Everyone thought that I killed him, but no, dude, that was that was funny for sure. So I'm glad
Oh
they
my
used that take,
god.
because it looks very real, because it was very real in a lot of ways.
Wow. So everything that was followed, you picking up the patch, that was literally right after that where you actually kicked
I
him.
can't remember. I can't remember if that was that take, but I do remember like, I think the time I hit him was when I did improvise that for the first time, like spitting on the floor and like,
Oh, that
hitting
was
the
you
pad.
improvising that.
Yeah, yeah, that was not in the script, I don't think.
Wait. Just the spitting or the patch
Both.
too?
Yeah.
Both?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Oh man, that's I would have thought like the patch would have been something. Jacob
Mhm.
Hawk. Do you remember in season 3 when he was beating the heck out of Brooks?
Yeah, and then he spits on him, yeah.
That was improvised too.
Yeah, yeah. See,
Yeah.
I actually didn't realize that, because I remember that moment, but, as I was filming that and did the split, completely forgot about that. Not until, like, seeing all these TikTok trends again, and, like, now I see these hawk edits and stuff, that I'm like, "Oh, wait, Jacob did that too." So, yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of parallels there. I bet people are excited to see how those 2 are in the same room. I'll just tease that.
Oh yeah. I mean, dude, it's so exciting, and I'm sure you see it. It's like because right now we got like, I mean, it's Kwon. Everybody's talking about Kwon, and then it's like Kwon versus Miguel, Kwon versus Robbie, Kwon versus Hawk. Like, we don't know who he's gonna face, but you have all of these options. Have you been like? I mean, you've been seeing all the edits, but have you been seeing the, because you obviously know what happens. Have you been seeing the theories and stuff, like who you're gonna fight, who you're gonna beat, who you're gonna whatever?
I've seen a few. Definitely not all of them because then I would be on the internet like 24/7
Yeah.
because there's so many edits out there. But no, the Cobra Kai fans are so smart and so funny too. Like they're all these theories are like I'm like, yeah. Like even the wrong ones, I'm like that could have been shot. You know, I'm like these are all
Yeah.
like really, that's why I think what the creators of the show and like everyone that is involved in the show do so well is like, and I think this is why the fandom is so intense and so big. It's because it's like your own action figures. You want to see how is this person versus this person or this. You can play all of these
Yeah.
mix and match like it's like your own little action heroes, and you want to see all the different matchups and see who's gonna win. So I think
Yeah.
it makes it really fun, and that's why I think it's even smarter that they spread out this final season because now we have time to make all of these theories, and now everyone's anticipating the next drop. So like I think it's really smart of them to do that, and everyone's gonna think of every theory ever, and then they're gonna be, there's gonna be a curveball, and they'll be like, "Whoa, I never saw that coming" when they actually watch it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's what I love about the writing of the show.
mhm.
It's like it's not that they subvert expectations just to for the heck of it, and they're trying to please the fans and tell a good story, but like the writers are very smart. They also do think of like, okay, what are the fans expecting and
Yeah,
how can we give the fans what they want,
yeah.
but kind of like something
Curveball.
different.
Yeah, yeah.
Curveball, yeah.
Misdirect. Yeah, yeah. They're really good at like, dude, even I didn't know, like, when I found out when I read as I was shooting episode 3, right?
Yeah.
I had no clue how many episodes Kwon's gonna be in. No clue what happens after. The only thing I knew was episode 3. So when
Really?
I got the script for 5, and I was like, "Whoa, Tori's on our team?" I was like, "What the heck?" Because I only got the scripts for 3 and 5. So I was like,
Mm.
"What the heck happened in 4 and like the beginning of 5 for this to happen?" I was so confused, but I was like, "This is sick." Like this, and then when I watched it, I was like, "Whoa, that's amazing."
Yeah.
So yeah, they're
Oh, so
really
you didn't know, like, with her mom, you didn't know any of that?
as we were filming, I think I found out when we were shooting 5. But as I was
Okay.
also shooting 3, I had no clue that we were gonna team up, like, no
Mm.
clue any of that.
Imagine you're, like, filming the scene and then, like, she walks by and you're like,
Yeah,
"Oh my, you're here
yeah,
too."
yeah, 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 exactly. No, like, Hayden was actually, like, kinda pulling me aside in between setups as we were shooting 3 and kinda telling me the arc, like, what happens and stuff, and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah,
whoa,
yeah.
that's so cool," and all this, so yeah. Yeah, that's when I found out, yeah.
Yeah. I've spoken to Hayden before, and he's, like, very, like, I mean, they all are, like, so excited about, like, like, they're so passionate about it, but, like, Hayden, like, I just remember, like, we were at the Karate Kid musical in St. Louis, and like he was just like he was just like talking like he goes on and on about the arcs and the storylines. He's like a fan too,
Mhm.
so it's pretty cool. Fans making this project.
That
That's what you need with like everything.
Yeah, that's why it's, 6 seasons now because they're fans and, they know how fans think because they're fans of the show, so it just goes to show
Yeah,
why this show is so successful, right?
yeah. And I know before we were talking about aura and how we didn't really know what that was, but like if people were like using the scene of episode 5 of you entering the dojo and saying aura, like I could kind of get what that is
Yeah.
cuz like that was just like everything about that scene. Like that was one of my favorite scenes in Cobra Kai. Like the whole segment. And dude, like your entrance, like the way you were like your facial expressions, like can you talk about filming that scene and like the mindset there? Cause it's like, I mean, you've competed before. It's like that, like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
ready to
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, dude, you know what's funny is like we shot that as we were shooting other episodes in part 2. Like that was like
Oh,
pretty
shoot.
much, if you think about it, at the end of episode 5 when we're actually at the Sekai Tekai, we only have like not even 10 shots to shoot. So, we were shooting
Yeah.
other stuff. So it's kind of a blur for
Yeah.
me. I do just remember them being like, "Oh yeah, we need to get this pickup shot of episode 5 and you're going to walk in. This is when you see them for the first time." And I was like, "Oh, sick." Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and as we were shooting it, I just remember like this is also when I channeled that feeling, that
Mhm.
feeling of wanting to prove myself where I'm like, "Oh, we're finally here, baby." Like, "Oh, these are the kids that Kreese and Kim have been telling me about? Who the this Look at this nerd over here." You know what I mean? I'm having all of these thoughts like, "What's this
Who's this
dude with the
Dimitri guy?
stupid mohawk?" Like, I'm having all of these thoughts, and I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
this is gonna be fun." I'm having all those thoughts without saying anything. So, it was so much fun. And honestly, there was so much excitement for me as a fan that I'm like, "Oh my god,
Yeah.
that is Miyagi, no!" You know what I mean? Like, oh, I can't wait. So it's all of those real feelings, in that moment. But nobody knows that inner fanboy in me.
Oh, yeah, you can't see it when you're there.
Yeah, yeah. No, but I'm geeking out for sure, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine, like, that whole thing, it was so cool, and, like, I love how you describe it. It's like, you're ready to have fun.
Mhm,
This is fun for you.
mhm.
But it's also what's interesting is, and I'm sure this will be explored, the moves that you were pulling, man, in episode 3, I don't know if the refs are gonna let that slide in the tournament.
We'll see. We'll just have to see, man. We'll have to see. Cobras find their ways. We've seen that for 40 years now. They find their ways. They find their ways for sure.
Exactly. Sweep the leg, you know, all the different things.
Yeah,
It'll be exciting. It'll be exciting.
for sure.
Um, so in your mind, when now like it's not confirmed, like we never really got like a scene of like Kreese saying like, hey, by the way, like there's Miyagi Do with Daniel and Johnny and Miguel. So like in your head, when you're seeing them for the first time, has Kreese and Kim already like clued you in? Okay, they probably Miguel Diaz, Robbie Keane. These are the guys that are probably going to be here. And like, are you like kind of like thinking like these guys, like you know this dojo?
I think so. I think so. Like, I think they're just like briefly telling us about them, and telling us to destroy them. I don't know how specific they're telling us, but I mean, at least for me, that's the context I put in my own head. And like, it's a real feeling of like when you hear, everyone's experienced this in their life, right? Where you you're waiting to meet someone that you keep hearing all these things about, you know?
Mhm.
And in this scenario, it's like, "Oh, this kid's like that, this kid's like that, this kid's like that." And I kind of had the expectation going into that, like, "Oh, they might be some real competition?" And then
Mhm.
I see them and I'm like, like, that's what I
What the
try to
hell is that hair?
yeah, that's what I try to, like, play into.
Yeah, I love
I'm not
that.
saying that this is like, was in the script. This is all just context that I kind of created in my head for
Yeah.
what you guys see. You guys will see what you see in parts 2 and 3. But at least for that scene, what was I like going in with for that context? It was pretty much that. Just to make it so it's not just, you know, us walking in. It needs
Yeah.
to feel, some of that tension there. Like everyone's waiting to see Cobra Kai versus Miyagi Do. You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
everyone's
for
waiting to see it.
sure.
Yeah. So
And I love how, like, I mean, they're all looking like, they're looking like they're ready to go. Like they're like all like stone faced, serious. But I just like, dude, I can't like you have like this like smirk. It's just perfect. It just says so much about you. Because it wouldn't be it wouldn't be in character if you were like looking like angry. Like you're smiling. You're like Like, I love that.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Thanks,
It's like
man.
small details like
I
that.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course, of course. So yeah, I mean that whole ending was insane. Tori joined the dojo. So I'm excited. I know the fans are excited too for part two. It's just like it's just gonna be like. I mean, is there anything you can like without giving anything away?
Yeah.
Anything you can tease about maybe like what to expect with Kwon or anything?
Um, I'll just say you're gonna see a lot more of him for sure.
Mm.
Um, more than you have in part one. Um, and I think, like we said before, oh, this is like danger zone. Like we said before, I think the creators are amazing at giving the fans what they want. So all I'll say with those action figure scenarios that I was saying, you know, you guys were gonna see a whole lot of them, and I think fans will really, really enjoy what we got cooking up for part two. Because I haven't, I obviously know what happens. I've seen a little bit of the footage from doing ADR, and from what I've seen, I'm like it's crazy. Like like part one was sick, but oh man, oh man, like you guys are in for a treat. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. Oh my god. I think Jacob was teasing. It's like the most like action packed. Like I mean, it's
It's
like
insane. It's the Sekai Tekka. Like we've been hyping this up since season 5, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So like it's gotta be worth it, right? So
Oh, for
we're
sure, for
finally
sure.
here for 2 seasons of teasing. It's finally here.
Yeah. And Netflix released that. There was like the exclusive like kind of like behind the scenes of season 6 part
Yeah.
1 in which we got some little clips, and I'm sure you saw the clip of you doing the high kick where you
Yeah.
marked like your foot with like chalk. Like I don't even know how to describe it. Marked like chalk with your mark chalk.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Kinda kicked with
Like marked
chalk.
this
Yeah.
kick with
Yeah.
chalk, like to like see how high you can kick.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah,
thank
yeah.
you. So that was cool. That was like our first
I didn't know they were
look.
gonna drop that, and then when I saw that, I was like, "Ooh, that's pretty cool." They did a perfect amount of teasing. People can make
Yeah,
their assumptions from it. I'm not gonna say anything. All I'll say is that was a really freaking fun scene to shoot. Like, that's all I'll say. It was
that was a
really,
fun
really fun. That
scene.
was one of my favorite scenes for sure.
And how high was that kick? How many feet would you say you got up in the air?
Ah, I don't know, maybe like 7 feet? I don't know. I'm not a good judge of height.
However high it was, you beat whatever the other score
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, man.
That's awesome. So you also, when Cobra Kai season 6 first premiered, you got to go to the premiere.
Mhm.
Um, can you talk about that experience? And was that like the first time you were really like interacting with fans on that scope?
Yeah. Yeah, dude, it was insane. I feel like I gotta start it from when the trailer dropped because I knew when the trailer was gonna drop, but I didn't know if I was gonna be in the trailer or not.
Yeah.
And so it drops, and usually in the morning I try to be, not every morning, but usually I try to like not go on my phone like in the first few hours in the morning. And so
Mhm.
once I checked my phone, it was just blowing up. Like all these new followers, people texting me, and I'm like, whoa, whoa, oh yeah, the Cobra Kai trailer dropped. And I watched it, I was like, dude, this is so sick. Like they hyped it up so well. Like they gave me some
Yeah.
really cool screen time on there. And yeah, I was like, dude, from like 3 seconds of seeing me in the trailer, like, how are these people finding me? Like like that's when it was hitting me like, oh, this is what they meant by the Cobra Kai fans are insane. You know what I mean? And it was just
Yeah.
like, like my phone was blowing up from that point on.
Mhm.
And um, when I went to the premiere, I had no clue what to expect. I just remember I think about like a few days prior, I went to Sony to do ADR for part two, and I ran into Dallas, and I was like, "Yo, Dallas, I got invited to the premiere. I'm sure you're gonna be there, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, man." And I was like, "Yo, can you tell me like what happens at these things? Because they're not telling me anything. I have no clue what to expect." And he's like, he kind of gave me the whole rundown, and yeah, going into there, I still had no clue what to expect. I didn't even know if I was gonna walk the red carpet. I didn't know what the heck was going on. Just knew we were gonna watch the first two episodes, and because obviously like my energy is very different from Kwon, and my hair is very different from Kwon. I was like, I doubt anyone's gonna recognize me. Like, should be fine. I was bringing my family with me, my agent, my girlfriend. I was like, yeah, everything's gonna be fine. Like, we'll just be like another fan over there. And then like
Mhm.
people were recognizing me already, and I was like, dude, like you've only seen me 3 seconds before. Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, and like, they were all so nice and so awesome, so welcoming, and I was just like,
Yeah.
whoa, this is crazy. Like, and what was really cool was to meet a lot of the cast that I didn't get to meet, because there's so many
Mm.
cast members on the show, and we don't all get to meet on the show because we're not all in the same scene. So I got to meet a lot of them. I got to meet Joe Suh, the OG
Yeah.
Korean on the show, and I was like, "Yo, what's up?" Like, I think we took an all Koreans dudes pick. Like, we got Daniel and I, the new Koreans, and you got Nathaniel O and Joe and who else am I missing? I think it was just us. I feel so bad if I'm missing anyone. I know Elysiana Campbell couldn't make it. Otherwise she would have obviously been in that picture. But that was a
Yeah.
ton of fun, man. It was super surreal, and that's when like from that moment on, it just like it felt like a dream. And now am I finally, like I said, feeling like, oh, I think I'm actually like, wow, I'm actually in Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, it must be like, I don't know, how is it like, because okay, there's like the different like stages of it. You're acting in it, you're going through it. But then like once it's done and it's coming out, like other than the premiere, everything is like the reception is like all through like your phone, right? It's like that's where all the like this huge stuff, like how is that?
Dude, it's a super interesting thing that I'm still it's so new to me, and I'm just trying to digest it all. It's like, social media is really new when you think about it.
Mhm.
Like, had I done a role like this 20 years ago, my experience, social media, we don't have smartphones. Like, it would have been a
Yeah.
very different experience. I still haven't gotten recognized in public yet, other than like
Really?
Comic Con and Comic Con and the premiere, which obviously fans are going to be there. But other than that, I haven't been recognized yet.
You gotta
So
do the hairstyle and then
yeah, maybe. Also, I don't go to too many super public places. I mean, I went to the San Diego Zoo yesterday, and nobody budged an eye, and I was like, "Oh, sick!" Like I can be a normal person. So like that's what makes it feel so interesting because I see my phone blowing up and the social media blowing up, and like, and it's super awesome. But then it's like at the end of the day, it's all virtual on the phone, and it's kind of like,
Mm.
is this real? It's like the reality is kind of like it's hard to tell whether
Yeah.
it's like it's real, but it's like it doesn't there's a bit of it that doesn't feel too real. And this is actually something that I asked a lot of questions to, especially the main kids cast, like Jacob, Sholo, Mary, Tanner, Peyton. I asked them all because like when I met them, I was like, dude, you guys are so cool. Like, why are you so cool? Like, people always say don't meet your heroes. People that are famous are super lame in real life, and I meet them, and they're all like the coolest and most genuine people I've ever met. And I just asked them all, I was like, "Yo, why are you guys not bad people? Like, how are you so cool?" And I talked to them a lot about it. And at the end of the day, the fame it is a very weird thing. It's like not many people can relate to it. So seeing them handle it and how well they handle it, I think was really good for me to see. It's helped me kind of like digest everything because I'm grateful for all this attention, but that's also like, oh, what is happening? It's just a lot happening at once, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if that really answers your question. It's just like I can't really put it into words what the feeling is. It's definitely good, but it's like I don't know. It's so new to me. So you know what I mean? It's so new to me. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I totally understand, and you're right. Like social media has completely changed the landscape of things. Like, it's not like you're at like a convention revealing the trailer, and then you have people coming up to you. It's like trailers just dropping online, and then like all of a sudden, just boom, like thousands of messages, and like you're still like when you put the phone down, it's like life is still the same unless you're like going out and like then when you go to the premiere, it's like a totally different thing. So I get it. It's like it's like the two lives. It's like
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, and like I said, I think because it's social media, I'm feeling it more than I would if social media wasn't a thing. Because, like I said, I still have yet to be recognized, so like I'm feeling it
Or two.
faster. Yeah, I mean, who knows? We'll see. It'd be cool to meet some fans. I'm not like complaining that I don't get recognized. Like I honestly could care less. I like to be living a normal life, so I don't know. I'm gonna do me either way, but it would be cool to meet people. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's just really interesting because you feel it more than what reality really is. Because yes, it's a lot of people that watch the show and it's a huge fandom. But like if you just go into public, like it's like what are the odds of seeing a Cobra Kai fan? You know, it's probably like I don't know what the stat would be, but it's not like
Yeah.
100%. You know, it's not like everyone in the world watches Cobra Kai, you know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah.
yeah, it's a
Unless you wear like a Cobra Kai
yeah.
shirt, then I'm sure someone might be like, huh. Huh.
Oh
He
man.
looks
Yeah,
familiar.
yeah.
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 Have you I mean they do like all these conventions. Has that ever been a thought of like potentially going to one of these conventions?
Dude, I would love to. I would love to. I mean, I went to San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Jacob and Shello invited me to that, and that was super, super fun. Again, I was just like, whoa. Like I remember we were vlogging and we had like mics on us, and
Yeah.
I was like so quiet because I was just trying to like digest everything. And then I was like, it would hit me in waves of like, oh shoot, I have a mic on me. We have a camera rolling. Like I'm supposed to be entertaining right now, and I'm just not saying anything. But no, definitely. Like I would love to. Like I said, for most of my interactions with fans has just been, you know, like electronically, and I would love to meet a bunch of them in person, and I mean, I think I'm just still like trying to digest everything and just trying to like, you know, move things forward. There's a lot of other things that I'm working on right now, so that's why I haven't been at any yet. But definitely down the line, I would love to. Like that would be a ton of fun for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know we were talking about like, everything happens for a reason and like how things work out. And I like I'm happy for you in the sense of like I think it's like worked out that there's this three-part release,
Mhm.
especially with the last season. Because let's say, you were introduced in this final season, all episodes dropped at once, it would be this big thing. And then it would be like, okay, now Cobra Kai is done. But now, like, there's like, more time for the conventions and for you to really digest and process this whole thing because we still got two more
Yeah.
parts to come out. Like, does that like do you feel it that like this is going into next year? Like you did it already, you filmed it, but it's like we still got two more parts. It's gonna go up through 2025.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely because there's so much that I haven't seen that anyone has really seen besides, you know,
Yeah.
the showrunners and all the people that are in post production. Um yeah, I'm dying to see it just as much as all of the fans are because I know how crazy we go in part 2 and I cannot wait to see like cuz part 1 like I knew part 1 was going to be super good but then after watching it, it blew my mind even more, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what kind of magic sauce post production did, for part two. So yeah, I think experiencing this now and then, like, now I can, like you said, I'm able to kind of digest it a little more and be a little bit more present, I think, for if there is a part two premiere or whatever events are happening after that. Fingers crossed, that'd be sick.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, because I think there was just so much adrenaline. It was really hard for me to be present. um,
Mm,
so yeah, I
no.
hope to be able to digest it better this time. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it online, and it's just a lot going on. So I can imagine, but I think, yeah, I think there will be a. I don't know, like I don't know for sure, but I would imagine they do another one, another premiere, and I think, yeah, I think it'd be good. It's like hopefully you get two more premieres.
Hope so,
That'd be
dude. That'd
so
be
cool.
sick. I'm not complaining about two more premieres. That would be amazing. Like, it's the final season. Come on, let's do it. Come on, Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix,
Yeah, yeah,
hear
let's
us,
do
do
it.
it.
Let's do it.
How do you because I know some actors like they don't like to watch themselves.
hmm
How do you feel about that? Like watching the season and watching your performance, like is it like, oh my god, that's me? Like how do you feel like watching yourself like back?
Um, I cringe every time. Honestly, I think a lot of actors do. Um, and usually it's a good sign because then like you could have done better. Um, I will say though that this is probably the first time that I didn't cringe too bad watching myself. Like, there were still a lot of things that I was like, "Oh, I could have done this better. I could have done that better." I think that's never gonna leave, but
Mhm.
um, I think in the short films that I've done in the past, and I watch it back, I'm like, "Oh gosh, what do you do?" Like, usually I can't even watch it. Um, this time it was like, I honestly think it's because of having that guidance of such veterans of like the creators and Ralph directing and all of that and all of the amazing departments. Like, it just got me out of my head and just more in the moment, and whatever came out. And as long as you're in the moment and you're not, you know how I like to say it is third eyeing yourself, like seeing yourself from the outside. You're just in the moment and you're reacting off what is a real feeling. I think that's what makes a good performance a lot of times. And I think there were a lot of that. So I was pretty proud of it because I was really curious how much improv they were gonna keep in there because I was doing a lot. And they like
Mm.
kept like all of it. So I was like, this is sick. Like, that's awesome. Yeah.
What Okay, so there was the spit, there
Yeah.
was the taking the patch, which like I feel like that was such a big thing. Like I feel like that would have been something in the script. Like maybe like they should have had you writing the script. Like
No, man, no, like, that's what makes this all collaborative, you know? It was, so let me see. Let me think. Like after Kwon spin kicks Yoon after they have their little word exchange, he kicks him in the face and then he
yeah.
goes, "Oh, where do you think you're going?" That was improvised, and like "Waba pali
Mm,
waba," like the "Come on, hurry up," that was all improvised. I
mm.
remember Don and I thought of that together because they had the blocking where they wanted us to circle around, and I was thinking to myself, I'm like, if we just circle around without saying anything, it feels like super cheesy, like, ooh, let's just circle, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it just felt like it was missing something. And
And you're not defensive. Your character isn't like
yeah, I don't
you're like a strike first.
exactly, like, I don't know why he would. I just, in my eyes, I was just trying to justify why Quan would circle around, so I was just like, oh, it's because he doesn't. He's like, "Well, okay, you guys wanna get your asses kicked too? Like, let's go. Like, come on, hurry up. Like, I know what you're gonna do already. Let's go." Like,
Yeah.
um, so it was just like those kind of things. And yeah, the spit, um, the choreography, ripping off the patch, that like was a whole thing. And then I kind of, made it a little bit more of a moment of like looking at it and smiling at him like I got it. You know what I mean? Like that kind of
Mhm.
came in the moment. But that I just piggybacked off of what the choreography was, which was like, you know, ripping off the patch. And then that's like such a big moment. That's like,
Mm.
him asserting his dominance, like him putting
Yeah.
his stamp literally as being the alpha of the new Cobras, So I felt like that deserved a moment. So yeah, it was just all those things that kind of just happened in the moment. Yeah.
That's pretty cool that, like, because that was your first episode, that you filmed.
Hmm.
So that's pretty cool that you kinda just jumped in and, like, you added to the character in those ways. Was that, like, maybe something that, like, at first, like, first scene, maybe it was like you were sticking to what they were saying, and then, like, as you, like, kind of were working with them more and more, it was like, "Okay, like, maybe I can, like, add this." Like, when did that comfortability start to, like, do the improv?
Well, it was really just a lot of things from the beginning. John, Josh, and Hayden pulled me aside and were like, "Hey, we want you to feel as comfortable as possible. We want you," and same with Ken and Don. They were like, "We want you to go nuts in the choreography." Like, and John, Josh, and Hayden told me like, anytime you see anything that feels off in the script, let us know. Like,
Mm.
they were super collaborative from day one,
Oh.
and so that was already like a big sign. And then, you know, the first shot we did was like the board breaking one, and like Ralph kind of had told us what to do, but I noticed he kind of just like didn't tell us too specifically what to do, which how I take it as when a director does that, they're kind of wanting to see what we can bring to the table. And
Mhm.
then they, amplify that even more. So I was just like, let's just go. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
felt like Kwon is such a bold character that if I wasn't bold in my performance, if I didn't do something dangerous, um, like dangerous as an actor, like then I mean dangerous not as in like safety dangerous, but dangerous as in like, oh, okay, that's too much, you know. I felt like then I'm kind of robbing the character, because they wrote it so beautifully, and he's such a bold character. So I'm like, I feel like I have to channel that as much as I can, and the more I kept channeling it, the more they kept liking it. They never really told me to dial it back, so I was just like, okay, I'll just keep going until they tell me to stop. And they really just let me. They let the dog loose, man. They just let him go. Like, yeah, and that's and like again, I wouldn't have had that confidence to do that without their guidance. So it really was. It's really credit to them for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So Ralph Macchio directed your episode. Out of all 6 seasons of Cobra Kai, he directed the one that you were prominently in. Like, when did you find out that he was directing, and how was that experience overall working with him?
I think it was so I found out I booked the job about a week before we shot.
Oh my god. Wow.
And keep in mind I auditioned 8 months prior because it was pre-strike.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Wait. Oh, wait. Okay, wait. Take me back to that
Yeah,
first.
I
So,
I auditioned. Yeah, sorry, what were you saying?
oh no, I was just gonna say. So you auditioned before the strike, but you didn't find out you got the role until 8 months later.
Yeah.
Oh my. Okay, that's
I
crazy.
sent in the tape and then I had a callback audition with the big 3 on Zoom, and then they said they were interested, but they couldn't lock in anything because of the strike. And
Mm.
then so for 8 months, I was like checking my phone nonstop, hoping that the strike would end. And I remember by the time the holidays came around, I was like, but surely they're going to tell me before the holidays, right? And they didn't. And I was like, oh,
Mm.
I didn't get it. Like I thought it was
Oh.
over. Then I remember I got the stomach flu. And one day I'm like dying in bed. My agent calls me. She's like, you booked it. And I was like, what the Um, and what's funny is that like she shout out Justine, my amazing agent. She was kind of giving like teasing me because every stage of the auditions, she would tell me like good news, and I wouldn't get that excited because I didn't want to get my hopes up. Like I'd gotten to this point so many times before, I didn't want to get my heart crushed, especially with this show. Like I was so attached to it, and I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, cool, moving on. And then, I'm sick in bed, and she calls me, and she's like, "You got it," and I'm like, "Whoa!" Like, and she's like, "Brandon, are you serious? I'm literally telling you, you booked the role." I'm like, "I'm actually like dying in bed with the stomach flu right now." And she's like, "Oh my goodness, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll be fine by next week." She's like, "Good." um, but yeah, I think probably not until like a couple days before I flew out there did I find out. And I remember like double taking that email so many times. Like when I got the script and I was like, director Ralph Macchio,
That's
Ralph.
that's the actor. That's the
Yeah, and
guy who
I
plays
was like searching
Daniel.
up online, like, is there another Ralph Macchio? Is that who Cobra Kai? Like
That's so funny.
this has to be the Ralph Macchio, right? And I'm like, there's no way. Like I still didn't believe it until like
Yeah,
I get there and
yeah.
we come off of the plane and they take us to the set and they're like, yeah, we want to introduce you to John Josh and Hayden and Ralph. And I meet Ralph and I'm like, hi. You know what I mean? And he's like, yeah, this is my directorial debut. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like the pressure was already on, but now it's even more. But
You just had to make it worse, Ralph.
no, but like he like the moment we started work, like getting to work, like he didn't he took all the pressure off, man. And like seriously, if it wasn't for him and everyone else there, I would have just been like uptight. I would have been like
Mm,
trying to act like Kwon like this, like all the time,
mhm.
like super uptight and not giving a good performance. Like, but they made me feel really, really comfortable. Which was crucial, especially it being my first big role for sure.
Yeah, that's so cool. And I mean, it's like you guys we're kind of like both going through similar journeys in the sense where this was new to you. I mean, Ralph's been in the show since the beginning, but this was his first time directing, and this was your first time in the episode. Like, did you kind of feel that? Like that you're both kind of like figuring out your own thing?
In a way, yeah. I mean, Ralph. I mean, dude, he's a legend. He's had so much set experience. I know that he's
Yeah.
directed like short films and stuff in the past, so I don't think he's any stranger to directing. Um,
Mhm.
in terms of directing on this show, and I believe this was his TV directorial debut,
Yeah.
which is different. So in that sense, yes. Um, but uh, in terms of Ralph, like figuring it out, I felt like he had it figured out from the beginning. Like
Mm.
he was a veteran. Like he was just so amazing as a director. Um, but I think him and I kind of built our chemistry throughout the first day. Um, I remember. I remember we had. I think the second scene we shot, we did the board break shot first, and then we did the Kwon speaking out of line, and then Kreese confronting him face to face. We did that next, and I remember in the beginning, like Ralph, when he would direct me, he gave me a lot of freedom, and then he would give me, vague direction here and there. And I think that when I really got his trust was there was one part, when Kreese whispers in Kwan's ear, like,
Yeah, yeah.
Let me show you how serious I am." And at first I was still playing the cocky, like, "What's serious?" Like, "What do you mean serious?" But then Ralph was like, I think you have the ability, and I really want to hit, thread the needle here. Can we do a world where, and I love the way he was saying it because it wasn't like he
Mm.
was forcing me. He was just like, it's like, this is where he was so good at being an actor's director. You can tell he knows how to speak with actors because he's an actor. He was like, yeah, is there a world, because we already got that take, and that take is great, what you did already. Like, we love that. I just want to explore, like, is there a world where, you are like, whoa, what is this guy gonna do? Is he gonna, whip out a weapon on me? Like, who is this guy? Like, um, but you still are that cocky character. So he was like, I don't want you to be like, oh my gosh, I'm terrified. But there's just that little bit of like, maybe not so cocky anymore, and it was really threading the needle. And he guided me perfectly, and I don't know if I did it or not. And then he was like, yes, after we did the take, and I was like, okay.
Is that what he did?
Yeah. So yeah, after that, I remember there was another time when we were doing the bonfire scene and we were running low on time. And Ralph comes up to me and he's like telling me the context and this and that. And then he just all of a sudden like stopped, and he was like, you know what? You know what to do. Like, I don't need to tell you what to do. And he just let me go. And I was like, no, I would love for you to tell me what to do. Like, but he really like, trusted me in that. And I think that's
Yeah.
just, that was just, that's so humble for a director to do. I think,
Mm.
he's just, I really, really hope, I know he wants to direct more. And I just really hope he continues to direct more, because he was so good at it, dude. He was so good at it, because he somehow gives you all of the freedom in the world, but also like is able to make you strike like a cobra, like pinpoint that
Good
storytelling.
analogy.
It's so hard to be able to do that as a director, I think. And he's able to do that very, very well. So yeah.
That's awesome. So, okay, so it's really cool, hearing you talk about like, like how you were being directed, like, and I'm just curious, like, in general, it doesn't just have to be like with how like Ralph was directing you, but in general, do you prefer like, when a director is like, yeah, like go for it, just here you go, and then you get to do it, or do you prefer when it's like if there was a scale of just go for it, and then on the other end it's like, okay, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. Where are you like in that scale of like direction versus like creative freedom to play the
Um,
character?
I think it's a Miyagi though. It's a balance. You know,
Yeah.
it's a it's all about the balance. I think by the time you are on set, everyone there should already have like a good understanding of like what these scenes, are about. I like it personally when directors kind of like, on the first few takes, let us like just find the flow and just do it.
Mm,
Because sometimes when directors, sometimes I've worked with directors where before you even do literally a read through, they're already telling you, this line's like this, and this is like this, and this and that. And it's
mm.
like I said, now I'm third eyeing myself and like seeing myself through the camera rather than being in the character. For me personally, sometimes that's like hard. Maybe I think other actors probably prefer that. But us as actors, we should be able to do, all different ways, whether they tell you to do that or not. But yeah, me personally, I like both. I like a balance of both. I like the first few takes, where they kind of let us like, do what we feel is right. And I think that's what makes it super collaborative, because a lot of directors will see what the actor is bringing and be like, "Oh, I didn't think of it like that." And then they'll bring something to the table that the actor didn't think about, and then the actor's like, "Whoa, I didn't think of that." And that's what makes it so like magical and fun. Um so yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's like that. Well, the perfect example is what you brought up with Ralph,
Mhm.
how he gave you that little direction, which, like, shout out to Ralph. That was a great move.
Mhm.
I think it, especially because the scene ended with, you know, your expression and Marty's expression of like, let me show you how serious I really am.
Yeah.
If you were looking cocky, it wouldn't have like you wanted to feel like, oh shit, what does he have in mind?
Yeah, yeah. Dude, and that's a perfect example of where this shows their experience in the show. Like for me, like they're not denying to me as an actor, yes, there is a world in that scene where Kwon isn't scared of Kree saying that. But if you're
Yes.
thinking big big picture, how the edit's
Mm.
gonna be, how the story is, how should you end a scene,
How the
how
audience
the
would perceive
audience
it
is gonna, yeah,
too.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's such a stronger ending in an open, now you're more excited to see the second, the next time you see us in Korea with that reaction, you know? So like that's a
Yeah.
perfect example of like his experience was like, oh wow, I would have never thought of it like that. Like he wasn't telling me, oh, what you were doing was wrong. You know, like
Yes.
some people say
Yeah.
that, you know, and like I think a lot of actors can agree. Like we feel like there's technically no wrong choice. It's just
Mhm.
like what feels right in the moment and what could be best, you know. And
Yeah.
you know, he reassured me that what I was doing was good. It was great. It could work, but he, you know, offered me an even better choice, and I think it was a bit even better choice. And you saying that as well, I think reassures that. So I'm glad that that was portrayed. Yeah.
Yeah. Does seeing does being a part of this, does it give you any interest of like maybe one day, I'll do like an acting slash directing sort of thing, like what Ralph is doing? Would you be interested in directing?
Yeah, I would love to. I mean, dude, before Cobra Kai, I like I said, I only done short films, and most of those short films, I'm having to wear multiple hats, like
Mm.
directing, writing, editing, like doing a lot of these
I've done
things.
that too, so
Yeah,
I
right?
get
Like
it.
if the industry doesn't give you an opportunity, why wait? Just go do it on your own. And that's the best way you're gonna learn. And I don't think I would have booked this role if I hadn't done all of those little short films and skits that I did. So I definitely have a passion for that. I also know that I'm just getting started in acting, and like I'm nowhere at a point where I can start thinking about doing other things like that yet. I mean, never say never. Down the line, I would love to, but like, I want to focus on one thing to make this thing go first. You know, like I would feel so entitled to be like, yeah, on my next show, I'm gonna produce and direct and create and write it. And I'm like, who the heck do you think you like? That would be a Quan move. You know, that would be Quan in real life.
To write the finale of
Yeah,
season 6.
yeah. That'd be Quan in real life if he was an actor, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna try to do that, you know?
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
but yeah, I definitely would love, like, I just love filmmaking in general. So I would love to one day, but as of right now, I just want to just do the best I can in this one avenue and see where it takes me, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think it's great that, you have the focus in acting, but like you also have, so many different things like, there's the martial arts. I do want you to, talk about your YouTube channel where you create like, your own skits, you act in them, as you mentioned, you edited, direct them. So I feel like it's like always like it never hurts to like be like familiar with all the areas because like it just, as you said, it's like, it all comes together. It's like the puzzle.
Yeah,
It all works out.
yeah, 1000%. I think if there's anyone, any aspiring actors out there, or, you know, anyone that is thinking about wanting to try it, don't wait to try to get an agent or like all this. Like, yes, all those things are necessary to like get to that point. But, you know, I think the best, like if I had a time machine and I could talk to myself when I first got in this industry, I wish I told myself that, like, go shoot, pick up your stupid iPhone and just go shoot stuff. Like dude, we
Yeah.
have no excuse nowadays. Like people not even 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, they would have bet, like I remember my acting coach, she would say like they would like beg to try to get some type of, just any type of camera so they could shoot stuff.
Mm.
Now we can all make movies on our freaking phone, man. Like we don't
Yeah.
have to buy a $10,000 camera to make a film, you know? Like you can just do everything on your phone now. So it's like there's really no excuse to try it. Um and I think that's where all the reps and learning comes from. Like I said, if I had not done all those little mini like comedy sketches and stuff, and I don't think I would have had the confidence or experience to book the role. And even if I did book the role, I don't think I would have been able to give that performance that I did. I know it might be hard for people to believe because when they look at my content, it's like all this like crazy comedy stuff, and Kwon is like very different from that. But like in comedy, you have to be very bold with your performances and like, you know, send it all the way. And that's what I had to do with Kwon. So like
Mhm.
it all like I feel like you will never like I don't want people to think it's a waste of time if you're not trying to be a writer, but you end up writing a script and you shoot it. Like you still learn so much from that avenue that you can apply to this main thing, you know? I don't know. Sorry, I got really nerdy about filmmaking there, but I just
No,
yeah,
dude,
yeah.
I agree. I'm actually a film major,
Heck yeah.
so I appreciate the chat about it,
Mhm.
and, yeah, I agree. I think it's like and yeah, there's always there's the perception of like if I post this thing and it doesn't do good numbers wise, it's a failure.
Mm.
But it is really about like what you get out of it and the experience you get, and also like I mean trying new things.
Yeah.
I mean, you've done so many films. Is it like, do you find yourself like, you know, each one, it's like, oh, how do we top that one? How do we like, let's do this new thing? Even we never did that one before. We never tried this idea before, but like, why not? It's like you get to kind of test out the waters.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I think as I you can relate. I mean, think as an artist, you're always trying to one up what you did in the past. Dude, to be honest, there's like you said, I do have a YouTube channel where I posted stuff, but dude, I actually have probably like 70% more content than I have on my YouTube and my like just libraries that I never ended up posting.
Mm,
Like that I purely did just to learn, you know what I mean?
yeah.
I think that's good to do as well, where you're just like you have no expectations going into it other than like you're not thinking about oh, how is this gonna go viral, this and that, because I don't think that becomes filmmaking anymore, you know, because then
Yeah.
it becomes social media, which is respect to that, that's a whole other thing. But like social media and filmmaking aren't the same thing. It's not the exact same type of content, I think. And I think it's really easy to get caught up in that. So yeah, I think I don't know, dude. I've had phases where, you know, I find myself getting trapped because I feel like the thing what I did prior was like at such a high level in my eyes for me personally, that anything I write after that or any ideas I come up with out of that aren't good enough, and then I end up like not filming anything for like months on months on months, you know?
Mm.
Um, so I feel like you can relate. I could tell from your reaction that you um
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm still trying to find the answer to that. But at least for me, it's just like just finding the fun again and just doing it just for fun. Whether it's literally, you know, you don't even have a script and you just do an improv scene and you get some buddies and you're like, "Yo, let's shoot a cool, stupid fight scene." Like,
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
come up with the lines on the spot. How about you're doing this and I'm doing this? Okay, cool. Like that can
Yeah.
be so refreshing and can spark so many ideas. I feel like, I don't know. I think I'm not really experienced enough to be giving this type of advice, I guess. But I'm just saying what I'm still figuring out right now as well, you know.
It's well, I mean, I think you are because it's your experience. Like you're sharing your experience, and I think like you have done a lot. So I think what you're saying is relatable.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you.
yeah, of course. It's like, yeah, I think filmmaking is so interesting because it's like it depends like what you're doing, what set you are on,
Mhm.
what people you're working with. Because I love when there's like the creativity and like that you could improvise and you can have fun with it rather than like, okay, let's just check this off and get this shot and get this shot, do this, do that, and go home.
Yeah.
It's like it's such a creative avenue on like for all the departments. So it's like you gotta like yeah, I don't know. It's like if you want to be there and if you want to have fun and be creative, it just makes the experience so much better.
Yeah. Yeah, for
Have
sure.
you had those have you had those like really like positive experiences on set and then like maybe like some negative experiences where it was kind of like, "Oh, this isn't really like I love film, but this isn't really like maybe like my favorite right now," or like with the set
Yeah, I
experience
mean,
or
not every experience is gonna be sunshine and rainbows, you know? I think no matter what you if you're open to it, I feel like, at least me personally, I even through bad experiences, I've learned from it. And
Mm,
you take what you learn and you try to apply it to the next thing. Um, but I don't know. For me personally, like I said, I always tried to make the main thing acting, and I was like, I want to all I want to do is like practice being in front of the camera as much as I possibly can. And if I have to write and direct and edit it, so be it. If we can have someone else do that, that'd be awesome too. But if there's no one else that can do it and I have to do it, I guess I'll do it. As long as like I can get these, I think of it as like reps at the gym, you know? Um,
yeah.
and I've been stuck in the portal sometimes where you know, where you end up trying to make something so high quality and you
Mm,
end up hiring a professional crew, this and that, which is all good if you really do want to take that path. Like there's so much success in that path. But at least for me, like where I was when I was first starting, I was like, dude, I have like no experience like on set. I just need to like practice performing, you know? So then when I'm actually there, I'm actually confident, you know? Um and there were times where, I'd be putting all this, have a producer, I'd have a writer, or this and that. And I'm like, dude, I'm spending 99% of my time not acting and doing all of these other roles that I don't want to do, um, rather than acting, you know? So then eventually, I would just do stuff with my friends. Just like I said, we literally improv something on camera, or like we'll write something and we'll just do it. Or like I've had times where we literally shoot a whole short film on a tripod. Like,
yeah.
we just make it work and we just don't second guess it and we just do it and just try to learn from it and just to have fun with it. Um but yeah, I think as an indie filmmaker, it's when you're trying to make things like at a certain level of production quality, I guess, sometimes you can end up getting tangled in stuff that isn't stuff that you're actually passionate about, if that makes sense. At least for me. Like if I was
100%.
wanting to be a producer, writer, director, like all of that, then I'd probably have a lot more fun doing that. But I'm not trying to do that yet. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
I completely get it.
yeah,
Well, it's like it's like also like for me, like I don't know how to use I have a camera here. I have like a Sony camera, but I like if I was making a film, I would be way more comfortable shooting it on an iPhone.
yeah,
And it's like on one hand, okay, but if you use the Sony, you get better camera quality. But then it becomes more about how do I use the Sony rather than than what shot do I get? How do I make a good film? It's more about how do I use this camera? And then it's like, why am I even doing this?
exactly, exactly, yeah. And dude, you'll see. I feel like I've seen some directors. I've met some directors where I talk to them, and I'm like, yes, they know a lot about cameras and stuff, but if you were to like put them there and like tell them to change all the filters and all of the crazy, I don't even know. There's so much
Yeah.
that go lighting, all of that. They wouldn't be able to tell you, but they know how to tell a story, you know, and that's like the thing that they're good at, you know, and they're still directing. So yeah, I think it's just I think as long as you just I feel like as long as you're doing what you love, then you just keep chasing that, and I feel like it'll take you down the right path. At least for me, yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm trying to my passions are with like the creativity, writing, directing, just the creative side of it. So like, in film school and whatever, I'm just like really trying like if I don't have to, I really don't want to be like, working a camera or doing the lights cuz that's just like it has nothing to do with like what I want to do and I don't get joy from it. So it's like
Uh,
but it's also tough cuz it's like sometimes you got to do like you have to be an assistant director or a production assistant, which you got to like work your way up.
yeah,
I don't know. Everyone's journey is different, I
for
guess.
sure, for sure. Especially in this, industry, it's like there's so many different
Mm,
roles in this industry that
yeah,
there means there's a million different paths, So yeah, like you said, I think everyone's path is different. It's just you got to find what's best for you, right?
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I have to ask you about Marty Cove.
Oh yeah,
I love Marty.
me
I
too, dude.
love Marty. I love Crease and like just like dude, his
Yeah.
all of it, bro. What was it like being like, yeah, working with him and like having like, the lines delivered, his cool persona, everything like to you, you were like the Johnny Lawrence of this like new.
Dude, that's some. Oh, don't say that. That is way too big of shoes to fill, man. Oh no. Oh man. Oh no, it was. I every time I see Marty, still, I'm just like it's crazy. Like I don't think that's ever gonna go away.
He's a
Uh,
cool dude.
he's so cool and he's so good. And I remember like when I was listening to a ton of interviews like yours or
Thank
wherever.
you.
Um, a lot of the cast members said that their favorite scene partner to work with was Marty, and so I was
Mm.
like, I cannot wait to work with him, and I
Yeah,
see
yeah.
why after working with him because he's such a veteran and so freaking good at what he does that he makes you feel like you don't even have to act. Like he gives you
Mm,
so much that you're just reacting, and
yeah.
that's all you can ask for in a scene partner where you don't ever feel like you're acting. Like the moment Marty turns into Crease, I'm just like I'm feeling stuff and I just don't have to like act anymore. Um but yeah, he was amazing to work with. It was so cold out there, like 30-degree weather, probably even
Yeah.
colder than that. He never once complained. He was
Mm.
always on set. He was never in his trailer. He was always working on his lines. Like, dude, it's so inspiring for him. I think he's pushing 80 soon to
Yeah.
be that passionate about his craft still this long into this industry. It's so it's so inspiring, man. It's so humbling and inspiring. It just makes me think of those times that I don't want to do something. I'm feeling lazy. I'm like, dude, Marty is out here in 30-degree weather, not complaining once. Like, shut up and go and suck it up and go do it.
Yeah.
But
No,
yeah, he's amazing, man.
that's cool that like, that he's like that and that you could like look up to him in that sense. I mean, like he's yeah, this has been a character that he had in his belt for over like 40 years. So,
Hmm.
and yeah, he's great and so I mean, you literally like he was staring into your soul.
Yeah,
What was like going through your head then? Like you're literally eye to eye, John Kreese.
dude, that's when I think it first hit me that like, oh my gosh, this is Cobra Kai. Because it's like it's literally the face of Cobra
Yeah,
Kai is staring at me,
yeah.
and I'm so used to seeing him on my TV screen. Now he's like inches from my face. um, that was That was surreal, man. I remember, I think I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again. I remember there was one take, where dude, what the thing is about, I think you said you're a filmmaker, so I'm sure you can relate. Whenever you shoot like over the shoulder shots and you're on like one actor's coverage, the actors actually have to get really a lot closer
Yeah,
than like
yeah,
you would think, because on camera they don't look that close to each other. So dude, when Marty's like up in my face, like I'm telling you, we're like kissing this like if I just flexed my lips, like we were like right there. And like I'm supposed to have this front that I'm not afraid of him, but inside I'm like so terrified.
yeah,
And I'm like, that is Crease right in front of me, dude. This is insane.
yeah.
But I do remember one take where after Ralph called cut, he just kept staring into me. He just kept staring into my eyes, dude. And I was like staring at him back in character. Like we were just staring at each other. And it felt like an eternity, dude. I felt like the clock was ticking like tick tock. Like so slow. But
Oh
we
my
just kept
god.
staring at each other, and then it was probably like for maybe 5, 10 seconds, and then he went, pat me on the back, and he went, "Good, good." And then
And
he
he
just
walked
walked
away.
away. And he just walked away, and then I was like,
That's like the most John Kreese thing ever.
and I was like, and then I looked at the extras, and I was like, did I do it? Did I do it? Like I was like, did I do it right? Like,
Oh.
but I was like, did I just? Was he testing me? Like I didn't. I don't know. I remember I asked him later about it. I was like, "Were you testing me in that moment?" He was like, "Yes." Yeah, yeah, like this.
You and you
Yes.
passed.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
He
Yeah,
has like he has the hands. It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
"Ugh, Cobra
Dude, when he
Kai."
did that, when he like puts his hand up, when like
Yeah.
Sensei Kim goes, "Nonin Maharajima," like tells me to be quiet, and then he goes, "Dung," and then it's like, and then he walks with that hand up still. I was like, "Oh, here it comes!" Like, so iconic,
Dude,
man. So iconic.
I love how I thank you for sharing these stories, and like I just love how passionate you are about it too, because it's like fun, it's like fun to hear that like you're into it, you know.
Oh, for sure. How can I not be, dude? If you're a huge fan, how can I not? It's like
Yeah.
Sensei Kreese. That's the Martin Kove in front of me, man. It's crazy.
Oh god, that is hilarious though. That's the story 5. I can literally picture that. Like, was that okay? The cameras were cut, so that's not like no one has that on video or
I
anything.
don't think so. I don't think so. I don't know. Yeah.
It's in the memory.
Yeah. Honestly, like it was such an adrenaline rush that it could have just been literally 1 second, which is
Yeah.
completely normal. So I could have made this whole thing up in my head, but I swear, like, I just remember having this moment where she says cut, and I was about to break character, and I look at Marty, and he's still like giving me that death glare. And I was just like, okay, I'll just stay in it too. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. So I just stayed in it.
Ralph? Are we still going,
Yeah,
Ralph?
yeah. Ralph, help, please.
Help me.
Yeah.
Bro, and what's interesting is like you said like, when Marty was staring at you, that was when you felt like, "Oh shoot, this is Cobra Kai." And it's interesting because it's like I'm sure when you got there, like I mean, well you tell me because th- it's hard to say like it's hard to get there and be like, yeah, this is Cobra Kai because you're in a new aspect of the show. Like we've never seen this part of the. It's not like you were entering Johnny's dojo with Ralph and Billy, and it's like, oh wow, I'm in the Cobra Kai dojo.
Yeah.
You're with a brand new group of students. You're with Sensei Kim Daeun, who was introduced in season 5. The only one there that like kind of has like that tie is Marty.
Yeah.
So it was like, how was that? Like, how did that feel? Like that kind of being in Cobra Kai, but also it's like a new aspect. Like this is
Yeah. That's
yeah.
kind of what made it feel like, in a way, not like I was in the show. You know?
Yeah. It's like
Um,
a spin-off or something.
yeah, I don't think it was till part 2 when I like started interacting with like more of the other ones was I like,
Mm.
okay, this is not a drill. Like this is happening, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, like definitely having like icons like Ralph Macchio and Martin Kove makes that feel very real, you know, when they're on set right there with you, you know. I remember there was one take where um we were doing my coverage and Alicia didn't need to say her line because she was off camera. So Ralph said her line for her. And I was just sitting there like, dude, I'm acting with Martin Kove and Ralph Macchio right now. Like, my life is
Yeah.
complete. If I die tomorrow, it is completely okay. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Did it like I mean, I'm sure the whole time it was, like, surreal, but it like, in part 2,
yeah.
like, we know you're gonna interact with them more. Did it start to get, like did it ever kind of become normal or, when did you get used to, like, "Yeah, I'm here. I'm with Ralph Macchio and Billy. I'm" it's funny, though. Sorry, now that I think about it, you're being directed by Ralph
Yep,
one day,
yep,
then the next day, he's an actor opposed from you on an opposite dojo. It's
yeah,
like that's pretty crazy.
yeah, yeah. Um, I don't think it's still. I mean, like I said, it's hitting me now, but anytime I see them, I'm like, "That's really them." Like, I don't
Yeah,
especially the OGs of Ralph,
yeah.
Billy, Marty, Yuji. Like, when I see any of them, I'm just like I just there's no words to describe it. I'm like, "Am I in a dream? Are you an imposter? Is this really you?" Like,
Yeah.
this is too good to be true, you know? No, man, that's I don't think that's ever gonna go away because I spent 4 months with them and, you know, I saw them at the premiere and I was still, like, fanboying, like, my brains out, so, like, I don't think it's ever gonna go away.
Well, that's
Yeah.
awesome, though. I mean, it shows the impact that they've had, and, like, as you said, like, sometimes it's like, don't meet your heroes, but it's like, in this case, it's like, yeah, they're super nice, so it's like, it's cool that, like,
Yeah.
you still feel that way rather than like, "I hope I never have to see Ralph Macchio again."
Yeah, dude. Like that's what I honestly was so nervous about that going into this because I was such a big fan of the show. I've been a fan of the Karate Kid
Mm.
since I was a kid. I'm like, oh, please be as cool as how I think you are.
Yeah.
And they were even 100 times cooler than that. And that's definitely saying something because I put them on this pedestal. Like, you know, so
Yeah.
um but at the same time, they were all so very human too, you know? They were not afraid to be vulnerable. They didn't make me feel like, "Hey, I'm Ralph Macchio. Hey, I'm Martin Kove."
Yeah, yeah.
Like it that's why it would hit me in waves of like, "Oh my god, that's them." Because when
Mhm.
we're just working, it just feels like another passionate fellow artist on set, you know? Um,
Mhm.
and then I'm like, "Okay, wait, no, you are Ralph
Yeah,
Macchio."
yeah. It's like those moments he goes in and out. It's like
Yeah,
he's directing you, and it's like, "Oh, okay, thank you."
yeah.
"Oh, wait, you're Ralph Macchio."
Yeah, yeah. Dude, and I gotta say the coolest thing is to see them interact off camera, seeing Ralph, Billy, and Marty interact off camera is the coolest thing ever because 'cause they're such good friends, you know? And, like, me
Yeah.
as a fan of Cobra Kai, that is one thing I always wanna see is them freaking get along for once, you know? They
Thank you. Me too, me
never
too.
and so when I see them in real life getting along, like, so well, I'm just like, I have the biggest smile on my face. I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, this is so awesome." Oh, man.
Well, well, you saw a lot that dude, that's literally what I was thinking
Mhm.
with episode 3, because Ralph is directing Marty, and, like, in the show, it's like Kreese is trying to kill Daniel every second, and it's like, to see it's like, "Hey, like, Marty, can you do that?" Like,
Yeah,
that must have been, like, pretty, like, surreal seeing because you got to see that, you got to see Ralph
yeah.
directing Marty.
Dude, even when I wasn't on camera or wasn't in scenes, I was just watching the whole time, like, and
Yeah.
I was watching them, like, and it was so awesome to see, like, you can see that they have that 40-year history together and that
Mm,
chemistry, but at the same time, like, they were so respectful to each other too, like, for Ralph to, be directing Marty, like
mm,
Marty's big bro to Ralph, and he's
yeah,
still so open to everything Ralph is saying, and
mm,
vice versa. Ralph is directing Marty, and he's still so respectful to, like, Marty. And it's just like it was so beautiful to see, man. It was I hope that there's even more behind the scenes content, because that's just like that's the stuff that's like, oh, it's so good. It's so good, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for you that, like, you got this role because not only do you kill the role, but, like, you're just so, like as a fan, it's just, like, awesome to hear you, like, happy about this. It's like, it's just cool.
Thank you,
It's
man.
really
I
cool.
really appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course. So who did you, like you get to, Sekai Taikai, you meet, like, the kids. Who did you, vibe with? Like, and who are you still, like, in contact with? Like, who was, like, kind of, like, the one that you were most gravitating towards?
Dude, literally every single one of them was so they're literally they're like one big happy family, and I'm not even
Yeah.
kidding. It sounds so cheesy, and I kept hearing it. Uh, the biggest phrase I kept hearing over and over again, um, and I keep hearing to this day, is you will never see a cast that big with 6 seasons, and they still love each other. Like, they not
Yeah.
just get along, but they love each other, and
No
like,
drama.
no drama. Like,
Yeah.
of course, there will be ups and downs, but they talk it out. There's no one's a diva. Like, everyone's just, dude. Every single one of them from day one just came with open arms and just, like, you know, asking to hang out outside of work all the time, and just, like,
Mm.
took us out to dinner right away, picked us up from the hotel, and, like, it was just like it was so cool, man. And I felt like I got to, you know, talk with each and every one of them. Um, well, at least the ones that I got to see, because there's even more characters that I didn't get to see.
Yeah.
But I guess the ones that I ended up hanging out with the most were um Jacob and Tanner, definitely a lot. Jacob is like me, but even more energetic, which is crazy. Like, it was so funny. I remember the oh, wait, I don't know if I should say this. I don't know. There's just an example of a time where I remember I was like telling one of my friends, like, that, like, dude, this guy's like me, but even more energetic. And they were just like, there's no way. And then, like, on FaceTime one time, I, like, introduced him to Jacob, and, like, they were like, oh my God, you were serious. Like, um,
Yeah.
yeah, he's awesome. And then Tanner was also super, super welcoming in a very different way from the beginning. I mean, all of them too. Sholo, Mary, Una, um, who else am I missing? Just, dude, literally all of them. Like, I can't even. I would just have to. I would just name all of the characters. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I remember Tanner actually visited our set as we were shooting episode 3.
Mm.
When he didn't have to, and the set was like an hour away from, like where the main studio is. So he went out of his way to come say hi to us, because between episode 3 and 5, we came in for episode 3, shot for a few days, and then we left, and didn't come back for a whole month.
That was a
So
month?
yeah, like a whole month, because of shooting episode 4 and whatever else they had to shoot.
Wow.
So um yeah, for Tanner to, like, he was like one of the main he was actually the first, like, kids cast that I met. And low key think he was sizing us up a little bit
Yeah, I was
before.
gonna say, is he like Who am I squaring up
Yeah.
against?
But he was super, super cool. You know, we had some small talk and yeah, from the beginning. Like I remember, dude, this guy is way too nice. I remember like literally from the stunt dojo to base camp, it's like not even a 5 minute walk. And he insisted on driving me in his car
Mm,
to base camp. And I was like, dude, no, you don't have to. And like this is
yeah.
literally the first day I trained with him too. And he insisted on it and exchanged info with me and was like, yeah, let me know whenever you need anything, whenever you
Mm.
want to hang out. I was like, dude, you are so cool. Stop being so cool. Like, yeah, and like, no, all of them. I feel like I can genuinely call friends. It's not just like, cast friends. Like, they made it feel very real, and they made it clear that like, yo, whenever you need anything, hit us up. Like, phone's open. So yeah, they're awesome, man. They're really cool.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, this cast, there's just something else about them.
For
So,
sure, for sure. It's
yeah.
sad that it's ending, man. It's so sad.
Hey,
um,
30 years down the line, like, you never know. Maybe we
Never
bring all these
know.
guys back, you know?
Never know.
You never know. You never know.
Yeah.
Um, so the Kwon hairstyle,
Yo.
how long did it take to get that particular style? Like, was there like a few options? Because that's like I assume right now this is how your hair usually is. Like, you don't usually have the Kwon
Yeah.
style.
No, I don't. Dude, it was funny because like every time, a lot of times after we would rap, like, and we would like hang out after work, after filming, like everyone would be like, dude, you gotta like wear your hair like that when you go to dinner or something. And I'm like, dude, I can't go in public like this. Like I can't, dude. Like, um, but I remember we got a haircut. I think the day we landed and we met Ralph and we met the creators, and we went to get our haircut. And I remember Kevin, who's the one that cut my hair. Shout out Kevin. I think this is the first season he was head of the hair department,
Mm.
and he's like a legend in the industry. Um, and I remember like the PAs just gave him a really brief like notes of like, yeah, for Kwon they want edgy and badass. Like, and then he was like, Kevin was like,
Thanks for the
what does
detail.
that mean? Um, and I remember I actually had just got my hair cut prior to that because I was hoping they would stick with my hair at the
Mm,
time. Because for me, I grew up in the Midwest and there weren't many Asian people growing up around me. So I had my fair share of like terrible haircuts because like I think Asian hair is like very specific and hard to work with if you don't know
mhm.
how it works. And so, you know, me going in being judgmental, I see this like older white guy and I'm like, oh no, he's gonna ruin my hair, That's what I thought.
Yeah.
And oh my goodness, he made me like take that back. Like at first I was like, what is he doing? But then he was like, yeah, I'm going for anime. And I was like, I love anime. And
Yeah, yeah,
then he did it and I was like, whoa.
yeah.
Like I said, it told me so much more about the character. And I was like, this is him. This is
Mm,
Kwon. And I was like so glad. I've never been so happy that my hair wasn't how it normally is. I
yeah.
was like, this is gonna help me find this character so much easier. Yeah.
It's the hair, and then I'm sure when you put on that gi, it's
The
like,
combo, oh yeah. Oh
yeah.
yeah. And then when we got the black ones, oh
Woo! Dude, those are sick. Those are
yeah.
so cool.
Yeah, with the Korean Cobra Kai logo. Oh man, when I saw that, shout out Frank, man. When I saw that, I was like, whoo. So good, so good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I know you've talked about this.
Uh-huh.
I know you've geeked out about this because this is awesome. You have a freaking theme. The Rise of Kwon. You have
dude.
Zach and Leo, who are insane, composed a Kwon theme.
Yeah, dude, it's so good. Dude, Zach and Leo are so amazing. Like,
Oh, you met them at the premiere,
I met
right? Is
them
that
at
where
the
you?
premiere, yeah. I met them, like, really briefly, and they were so
Yeah.
cool. They were so awesome. I remember they were like, "Dude, I feel like I have met you already because 'cause we've been, like, watching you already," and I was like, "Wait, you guys are Zach and Leo?" Like, "Dude, this is so sick." And they were like, "Man, we've been so hyped to, like make music for your character because we've been
Yeah.
making the same music for the same characters for so long now to have like new blood on the show and
Mm,
oh my like my fave like even before I was on the show, the score on the show has always given me goosebumps, especially when the
dude.
Miyagi stuff. There's something
Bro,
about it.
I love the Miyagi-Do
Oh
stuff.
man, it just gives you the chills, right?
Yeah. Are
And
you are you a Star Wars fan?
no, I'm not, unfortunately.
Okay, all
No.
good. No, it's like in Star Wars, you have like the Force theme. Like it's like
Oh yeah.
the da da
Yeah,
da. Like
yeah.
that's how I feel with Miyagi. It's like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna go save the world now.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like,
like, you just feel something, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, like and I knew that, like, they are they're so good at what they do, but they're also very authentic, you know? They with the Miyagi stuff, you can tell there's authentic Japanese instruments that they're using. It's not just, like, Americanized because it's Cobra Kai is an American show. They pay homage to where, these characters come from. So, I was so excited because we haven't really explored Korea very much,
yeah,
briefly with Sensei Kim the season prior, but, this is where we're actually there, and dude, it was the perfect blend of, like, using, like, traditional Korean instruments, but also putting that like because Kwon is young and he's edgy and he's you can tell he's
yeah,
like up to date with the trends, like that electronic, like oh dude, it's so
yeah.
good, man. It's so good. I was mind blown. I mean, I'm sure you heard the story where like randomly one day I get a text from Ralph Macchio, Rise of Kwon,
Yeah,
and
yes.
I was like, uh what does that mean? I didn't know how to respond, and he was like, "That's the score," and I was like, "What?" Like, dude, it's so good.
That's so funny. Wait, where were you? Ralph Macchio just texts you Rise of Kwan. That must have been like the most random thing.
Dude, I remember I was, like, on my computer right here. I was being a lazy bum playing video games, and I'm, like, just playing my game, and then all of a sudden, and I went, "Oh gosh, it's Ralph Macchio." And then he just says I think he literally was like, "Hi, happy 4th of July, Rise of Kwon." In quotes, and I was like, "Huh?"
It's like, should I know what this means?
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I felt. I was like, "Is this something that we talked about?" And I just, like, zoned out or something? Like
Wait, so you found out that you got it? Wait, 4th of July. So this was before the season
Yeah,
came
this was
out.
before it came out. Yeah.
Oh, so you found out that you were gonna get your theme before the season.
Well, he just told me that was the score,
Yeah.
and I didn't know if, like, that was just a temporary name or if they were literally gonna, like, name the song that. And then I saw the score and I was like, "Oh my goodness, it's literally called Rise of Kwan."
Yeah, and, like,
Oh,
it's, like, what's so great about them and, like, I did you notice, like, in episode 5, when Cobra Kai arrives, they use that same theme, like, they rework it. It's like, it's the Quan theme. It's like,
dude.
any like, I'm sure like, part 2, I'm sure when you see you, that's gonna be, like, reworked in certain
I
ways.
hope, man, because yeah, that's why actually as much as I love Rise of Kwan, as much as I'm honored that like Rise of Kwan, it's named after Kwan, dude, my favorite is Let the Games Begin because that guitar
Bro.
that guitar when Miyagi-Do walks in, it's
Yeah.
goosebumps. And then that transition, you know what I mean? Like it
Oh,
has the best of
like
both worlds. Like it
like the
has
bass drum
yeah,
when Cobra Kai walks in.
yeah.
Boom, boom,
It's
boom.
it's so good, man. It's so good. I still listen to it like when I need to get pumped up for the gym or something. Or like, dude, I'm gonna go train later tonight, so I'm probably gonna jam out to it. before we train tonight too. You know? Yeah.
Recommendation. Maybe you know this one. Slither. You know
Slither.
Slither?
Which one's that one?
Slither is season 1, episode 5, Miguel's training music.
Oh yeah,
Da, 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 da,
yeah,
da. Dude, that's when he's like doing all the push-ups. Like every time I hear that song, I'm like
yeah,
countless push-ups. It's just like they're so good. Like, cause they go from Rise of Kwon to Miyagi-Do flutes and they even you did a collab with them on Instagram. You guys they did like a making of the score and you guys both collaborated on that post, right?
yeah, yeah. Dude, that was so confusing. Like again, they posted it already, and then I get a DM, and they were like, "Yo, do you want to collab on this post?" I was like, "Yes." Like this is so cool. Like you guys made a
Yeah.
behind the scenes thing. Like yeah, that was so cool. I very briefly got to meet them, but I really hope I get to talk with them more because that's just like this was in particular like now that this is like the first thing, first big role I've been a part of. Like I uh I really saw firsthand how much the score
Mm,
like enhances like storytelling. Um,
yeah.
it's crazy. So I would just love to hear what their process is like. And they showed a little bit of it in that behind the scenes clip, but yeah, I would love to see like I wonder like do they have already the final cut already before they clip it together or I don't know. I have to see. I feel like they
Yeah.
do. I don't know.
I so I've done like 4 interviews with them on the
Okay,
channel.
I gotta watch them.
Yeah.
I gotta watch them now. I have to watch. I
I
can't believe I didn't
appreciate
watch
it.
them already. What the heck? I gotta watch them. Do they talk
I
about a
appreciate
lot of that?
they talk about a lot of that.
Okay, okay.
Um, and I definitely now I have to interview them now that season 6 is out, and definitely I gotta ask about you. I'm sure they'll be super excited to talk about that because yeah, they love to delve into new stuff, into new territory.
Mhm.
And like your story and like your character is just a completely different. Like, I mean, we're in Korea, we're with a new student. It was a chance for, Ralph to direct something new, for the writers to write something new, for you to do something new, and
Mhm.
for them.
Mhm.
And I think what they do is like they have like they go through the episodes and then they like listen and they mark down and like sometimes they have like okay like so Johnny's talking to Miguel here so we'll have the Johnny Miguel theme and then like whatever like they kind of like have like the certain themes that like reoccur that they kind
Oh,
of like
yeah.
mark down so
Yeah.
like sometimes they literally will reuse the themes like exactly you'll hear the same exact ones or sometimes it'll be like the same theme but they'll like kind of rework it or like
Yeah.
I'm I would imagine, and you tell me if you heard anything, but I would imagine that when the Kwon storyline was first introduced, I would imagine they like were like, okay, we're gonna create a theme just for this side of it.
Like, for music?
Yeah, like even if it's not like for Kwon and also like this new Cobra Kai dojo because even
Yeah.
in Let the Games Begin, you hear that theme come back.
Yeah.
Cause like in like season 3 with Okinawa,
Yeah.
they like created an Okinawa theme
Yeah,
and like
yeah, yeah.
I would imagine like going to this new place, they were like, yeah, we have to have a new sound.
Probably, right? Like, but that's the thing, that's the magic is, like, I was just so dialed in on what I was doing, I never even thought about that even happening, I was just like
Yeah. You're not even thinking like there's gonna be music. Wait, were you thinking about that at all? Like as you're
no,
fighting, there's
dude,
gonna
I
be
was just
music over this.
I was not, and then I was like, yeah, as it was getting closer, I was like, oh wait, yeah, Zach and Leo are really good at what they do. They'll probably do something new and different
Yeah.
for for the Korea stuff, and I would have never guessed that they would name a song called "Rise of Kwon." That's it's so sick, dude. It's so sick. I really hope like I think they hinted at it in that video. I think you're right. I would have to guess. Full disclosure, I have no clue. I haven't seen part 2, whether or not they're
Yeah.
gonna keep that like theme, but I think you're right too. Like, because they even hinted at it in that video. They're like, you're gonna be hearing a lot of this in Cobra Kai season 6. Like they said that. I
Yeah.
remember. So I was like, ah, that's a little teaser there. Yeah.
I love that. So I know you can't reveal, like, what fights are gonna happen in part 2, but,
Mhm,
like, now that, like, you know what the fights are,
mhm.
and now in your mind hearing like, thinking of those fights and then thinking of, like, what music can be put over it, like, how does that make you feel? Is that exciting?
Dude, yeah, it really is, and I'm also have no clue what it's gonna be like because now it's like we're in a whole new world, you know? We're at the Sekai Tekai,
Mm.
and so I don't know, man. It's I'm excited to see what they got cooking up. That's all I'll say. I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, so just to wrap up, I know we've been going for a while. Thank you, man. I
yeah. No worries,
appreciate you
man. This has been a lot
for
of fun.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I'm glad. I just yeah, I'm just curious like when you're not working,
Hmm.
what do you enjoy doing for fun?
Oh yeah. Hmm. A lot of things. I think lately, because a lot of this has been very overwhelming in the best way possible. I've been trying to like do things that have nothing to do with the industry.
Mhm.
Um, I try to keep up with my training, my taekwondo and tricking training. Um, I just started live streaming on Twitch. I've always wanted to
Oh,
live
nice.
stream video games on Twitch, and so I just started, and that's been a ton of fun.
Shout
Shout
out to
out
Twitch.
Oh yeah,
Give a
Twitch,
shout out to it.
Brandon H. Lee 7. And shout out to Dallas for like for inspiring me to do that because I remember he asked me to be a special guest on his Twitch and I was like asking him a bunch of questions. I was like, yo, this is sick. Because I've always wanted to do it, but I never did it. And he was like, dude, why not? And you're like, and I was like, you're right, why not?
Yeah.
um I've also been, taking dance classes I've been having a bunch of fun with.
Oh, cool.
I tried rock climbing for the first time, which was fun. Um, and yeah, I want to get back into doing the skits that I was doing on YouTube as well, the sketches and stuff. I have a lot of ideas and scripts kind of like in the library right now, ready to go. So, um, yeah, I'm just trying to, as much as I am Cobra Kai till I die as Kwon, but I think me as Brandon, like what I love so much about Cobra Kai is the lessons that we learned from the show. And I would say that I am very Miyagi-Do in that way where I try to find my balance, you know?
Mhm.
So I think with this big change in my life now, I'm trying to find what that balance is and, keep moving forward. So yeah, man. I think I think that's all. What about you?
What about me? Yeah, no, I agree. I think balance is super important. That's definitely one of the biggest things I've learned from Cobra Kai,
Hmm.
and it's like life is just so important. Like, you can love one thing, but doing one thing isn't always enough. So,
Hmm.
yeah, I love filmmaking, but I also really enjoy like, being active and like going on hikes and playing basketball
Hmm.
um and I'm also really, really into music. Like, I mean, well,
Oh,
yeah, as we're geeking out about the music,
yeah.
I write my own music.
Oh,
I
really?
Yeah, yeah.
Whoa.
So I'm actually working on a song right now, like producing it, which is like something like completely like it's kind of like what we were talking about, how it's like, it's like putting a lot into it. It's taking a lot of time and it's like literally for no like I'm not making any money from it, I'm
Yeah.
not like it's literally just because it's something I've like always wanted to do. I've been writing music for the last 5 years and now I'm
Wow.
working with someone to like get it like studio recorded, so
That's
it's
so
like
awesome.
thanks, bro.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's like I'm trying to, like do different things that make me happy because it's
Mhm.
like I mean, and as you said, it's like it's balanced, but it's also like, I don't think it's like there's never like you never like fully like find it and then like that's it. Like it's
Yeah.
always like you're always gonna have to find it because especially like with the stuff that we're doing, like the film industry, acting, all this stuff, it's like things are gonna just get brought to you.
Mhm.
Things are gonna come up that might, like, kind of like, and then
Yeah,
you gotta get it back, you know?
yeah. Yeah, yeah. No, for sure. I mean, I think that's just life in general, right? Not even this industry, just life in general. It's always gonna throw you curveballs. It's never just
Mm.
gonna be a smooth road. So, yeah, I think that's such a Daniel LaRusso thing that right there, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
That's awesome though. I'm super excited for you. That's so cool, and I'm excited to see what you're cooking up, and that's
thank
so cool.
you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I need to send you, my, I did a fan film about 3 years ago
Mm.
called Star Wars Baby Yoda.
Whoa.
So, are you familiar with Baby Yoda?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I didn't watch The Mandalorian, but I'm familiar that Baby Yoda is a
Okay.
thing.
You don't need to know anything about Baby Yoda. This was a fan film that took me and my friend a year to make.
Whoa,
Yeah, we went all out. It's like 40 minutes, about 40
dude,
minutes.
that's
We w
crazy.
we went all out. It was me, him, like, this is like ca and I'm talking cast and crew. Me, him, his 12-year-old brother, my mom, and that was it. And, like, it was like we were all, like, switching filming and tripods, and me and him were acting. It was, like, exactly what you were, like, describing with, like, your sketches, how you were like, we were doing it all, but it was, like, it was so fun, and it just turned out to be, like, the most amazing thing. So,
That's
like,
so
I gotta
awesome.
forward it to you. I'd be curious to hear your thoughts, and then
Yeah, yeah.
maybe we'll collab one day.
Yeah, I would love to watch it, man. That'd be awesome. Heck yeah.
Thank you.
Do you when you watch Cobra Kai then, because I'm sure you watch it over and over again, right? Like as a fan. After you watch it like if like a few times, do you start watching it as a filmmaker rather than rather than a fan? Like, oh, I wonder how they shot this, or like, you know what I mean? Like those kind of things.
For sure, for
Yeah.
sure, for sure.
Okay. That's
I'm like, I'm trying to think of like certain examples. It's like I'm kind of blanking right now, but
mhm.
but yeah, like, you know, the first time I watch him, definitely just like, unless something's like really like, oh wow, like sometimes they'll catch me like in the moment, like, oh, I wonder how they did that, or like, oh, I wonder how that was done.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, definitely after watching it a lot of times, it's like you go back in and you really like, whether it's like a certain like actor's performance or it's like a certain like camera angle, like I don't know, there's just like so many cool shots.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know,
For
like
sure.
it's hard. Do you have like anything from the show that was like, as like a, as someone who's like interested in film, that kind of caught your attention?
Yeah. Dude, it's really cool to hear Ralph's like interviews where he's talking about what his influences were when he was directing. And
Mm,
now after hearing like what his influences were, and I kind of like will rewatch some of the clips, I'm like, oh whoa, that's sick. Like he was not just good at bringing out performances from actors, but he was very purposeful with his cinematography, which was cool. I
mm.
remember at one point he was like, he told me, he's like, "You're lucky, I'm giving you all the badass shots." You know, especially that
Yeah,
tracking.
literally.
Yeah, he was giving me all the cool ones. That tracking shot when I walk in to like, you know,
Mm. In
push me in.
slow-mo.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. Like I was like, oh, this is, and I think it was his idea to do that scene with Crease at night. I think
Mm.
originally it was supposed to be in the daytime, and I think take it with a grain of salt, but I thought I heard it in an interview that he pushed for that to be at night. So then you could get him smoking the cigar in that dark like atmosphere.
Yeah.
Um, it really made me like think like, oh wow, Ralph is such a intelligent filmmaker. He's thinking so deeply about these things, and he's pulling inspirations from like the '80s and stuff. You know, where like from where he comes from, and he's putting it into this, which is so sick. And it fits perfectly because Cobra Kai always has that '80s feel because you know it came from the '80s because the Karate Kid and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, For sure. It's funny though. It's like I actually haven't watched the new season too many times, but like I found myself seeing the clips from like fan edits here and there, and I'm like
Mhm.
noticing things that I didn't notice before. I'm like, oh, yeah, you know what I mean? Like it's funny. I don't know, or like the fans will notice something that I never noticed. It's
Yeah,
yeah, it's funny. Yeah,
like the references and all that.
yeah, 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 for sure. Yeah,
Yeah. No, there's so many cool details, like, with, like, how they shoot it and, like, even, like, the end of episode 1, there was, like, I even just the montages in general. I love how they shoot montages.
dude, it's so good. Especially like when you were saying the stuff with Miguel doing push-ups, like season one montages were the best, bro.
So good.
Those are so
So good.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
We need a Kwon montage. That's
Dude,
what we
I would love to see a Kwon montage.
Well, even to piggyback off of the point where the Ralph's decision to film at night,
Mhm.
like, these are things that's like it's hard to, like, come up with these ideas in the moment, but when you're explaining it, it's like easy for me to be like, "Oh yeah, like that makes sense." And I think also another reason why it worked is because if that was done during the day, it all would have felt like this is all happening in like 5 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kreese meets Kwon. Like, trains Kwon. Kwon's like goes to him, and then the fight, and then it's like, okay, now you're the leader. It would have all felt like, but now by having it at night, it's like it's spaced out, and because in the storyline, Kreese is, we don't really know how long he's there, but he's not there for like a day. Like,
Yeah.
he's there for a
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah, there's more of
So
an arc then, right? Like there's more of a
yeah,
journey.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
It's interesting because it was only one episode,
Yeah.
but it feels like, but having the nighttime, having day to night to day, it feels like, okay, we're seeing more of it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You weren't in because episodes 1 and 2, there were some shots of the students. You weren't in any of those, right?
No. No, yeah. It was
Was
funny
there?
though, because when we were at the premiere watching it, because I didn't even get the scripts for 1 and 2. Had
Oh yeah,
no
you
clue.
you weren't. Yeah, yeah, you weren't in those.
I
The ones that
wasn't
they
in those.
showed.
Yeah, but then they would show some stuff in Korea, and then I remember, like, my family and friends that were there with me were just like, "Oh, is he gonna be there in the background?" I'm like, "No, I'm not there."
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not in the background.
yeah. You were just like the surprise. I'm guessing they just wanted to.
I guess so. I mean, like, contractually, that's, like, not good for
Oh,
their budget, you know? Like, having a kid in
yeah,
the background and having to pay us, like, a different rate, is different.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Plus,
Not good
like,
for
with
them, but would have been good for you.
yeah, yeah, and plus with that hair, like, I feel like he would stand out too early, and those moments, like,
Mm,
that story is not about Kwon, it's not about any of these characters yet. It's just about, Kim, like, showing Kreese around and stuff, so I think they made the right move either way,
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, lastly, do you have any? I know you've mentioned it a few times, but like, if there's anybody out there like who wants to do what you're doing and become an actor and pursue this path, do you have any
Mhm.
advice for them?
Ooh, um, hmm. Well, first I'll just say, like, take anything I say with a grain of salt. I'll just speak from my experience, and I guess I'll say what I wish I would tell myself when I was first getting started. Um, like I said, I wish that I had just stopped making excuses and just find a way and just do it, pick up the phone and just make your own little movies, and you'll find the passion from there. Um, but I think that's number one, and I think within that you will find out whether or not you really do want to take this all the way, whether or not you're passionate enough for this, um, because it's it's tough making something that you're passionate about your career, you know.
Mm.
There's gonna be ups and downs, and the downs are very, very low in this industry, no matter what. Like I said, like I hadn't worked for 3 years pretty much until I booked this role after my last stunt job prior.
Wow.
So it was 3 years of, self doubt. Dang, am I making the wrong decision? Should I just do stunts instead? Um, but I stuck with it, and I think what kept me perseverant was making sure I was still not only working on my craft, but also having fun with it. Um, and I think that's just like the most important thing, whether or not you want to pursue this or not, or you end up finding something else that you want to pursue. I just think, life's too short to not have fun. And so I would just say, I guess, chase the passion. Um, don't be afraid to be different. I remember for so long I had suppressed who I was for a really, really long time. And I found out in the beautiful art of filmmaking that you're supposed to embrace what makes you different, and that's what, actually helps you succeed, I guess. What sets you apart. So yeah, I guess just chase the passion and have fun, find the fun, and embrace the weirdness in you, because we're all weird in our own beautiful ways. Yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. I think
Mhm.
that's great advice because there was, I started this YouTube channel 5 years ago. So I was 16 years old. So I was, in
Wow.
high school. I was, going through everything. And um, I just always had that creative side to me. And I remember, I loved Cobra Kai, but I also loved filmmaking. So I would like tie those two together where instead of just talking about the show, I would like do these skits where I would dress up as the characters and act it out. And it was really fun and I was really proud of them. But I was like, I really hope that nobody I know ever sees this. And I did not like share it at all.
Uh-huh.
And then I remember like I think like some people started finding it, and then I got really embarrassed, and then I put like all those things on private, like my
Really?
yeah, like my favorite things I put on private,
Yeah.
and then I it took maybe it was like a few months later where I realized like where I started to get the comments where it was like people like wanted that stuff, and they
Yeah.
were like that's you, that's so fun, and it's different.
Yeah.
It's like and so I made it public again, and then
That's
it was the best
awesome.
thing, and now I just don't look back on it because it's like you gotta be yourself, you gotta be creative, you
Yeah.
gotta have fun, and yeah, be weird.
Yeah.
Who gives a crap? Who
Yeah.
gives a crap?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like I think more people will like I mean, like, look, I think like where I was like, okay, like I felt like I know I felt good about my decision when I went to Comic Con in 2021 and Mary Mauser told me she saw me dress up as her in one of my
Oh,
skits. So I was like, there you go, there you go.
yeah, there it is. Yeah, that's so awesome, man. That's so awesome. I'm glad you embrace that part of you. And I feel like it's very common at that age when you're like 16, 17, 18 in high school. Like, I don't know, tell me if you agree or not, but it's way easier at that age to feel like self-conscious, and because you're always trying to fit in, especially when you're in school, because you're going to hear about it in school if people find an embarrassing video of you.
Yeah.
I'm just like, dude, oh my gosh, like 99% of these people you're not going to see for the rest of your life after you graduate high school. So what's the point of like suppressing yourself for all this time?
Yeah.
Like there's no point really. Like if they're not physically harming you or anything, just do you, bro. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
And
know.
it's also like it's like probably like an envious thing of like,
Of course.
man, I wish I was that confident. Like,
Of course. Yeah.
it's like it's cool. Like, dude, if I was in high school and I like if we were in high school together and I saw you were doing that sort of stuff, I'd be like, that's friggin' awesome. And I'd be like, okay, if he's posting this, then I should feel like confident. So like who knows? Like maybe like being yourself, like you'll inspire someone else. Like maybe
Exactly.
I've inspired someone inspired another dude to dress up like Samantha Russo. Like I,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, exactly. No, seriously, seriously, anyone out there that's listening to this that's like suppressing that right now and you feel like that, like you never know who you might inspire for sure. And it'll just be a snowball effect. We'll just make this world a more beautiful place with our weirdness.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah,
Dude,
for sure.
I know you said you had a podcast. I don't know if you have you been doing it recently because
I
like
haven't for a long time, no, yeah.
you're good, man. Like I hope you in whatever shape or form, like definitely with the skits and like the creative stuff I love, but even you just like talking and sharing your experiences, like I feel like it's really good. And I feel like a
Oh,
lot of people would like really enjoy that.
thank
So
you, man. I really appreciate that. I mean, right back at you. You're already doing it, but yeah, for sure.
thanks, man.
Thank
Thanks, man. Well, I
thank
guess
thank
that's what
you.
you're doing with the Twitch. So,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. That's kind of been that outlet for me in a way. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I'm just kind of trying stuff that I wish I tried sooner, So why wait? Let's just do it.
Good for you. Good for
Mhm.
you. That's
Thanks,
awesome.
man. Right back at you. I'm excited to see the music stuff, man. Heck yeah.
I'm gonna send it over. I'm gonna send it over.
Sounds good.
So before we wrap up, can you just tell everybody, where they could find you on social media, and
Mhm.
also, do you have anything you want to say to the fans?
Yeah, for sure. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Brandon H. Lee _official. I'm on YouTube as well, Brandon H. Lee, and now Twitch, Brandon H. Lee 7. I'm trying to think, is there anything else? I don't have Twitter. Um, yeah, and I guess just like thank you, dude. Thank you, Drew, for so much. I found out what your actual name is. I always
Yeah.
knew you as the Cobra Kai kid before this, but thank you so much for having me on. Like I said, been a big fan of your show, and uh, I was always thinking I was getting hand up for a bunch of these interviews, and I was like, when is this kid gonna hit me up? So I'm glad we finally made it happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, to the Cobra Kai fans, like seriously, thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart for all the love. I can't even express how grateful I am. You guys have changed my life like crazy within the shortest amount of time. And I hope to meet you all soon in cons or wherever, maybe on Twitch online, who knows.
Yeah.
And I know you guys are dying to see parts 2 and 3, but trust me, the wait will be worth it. I can guarantee you that. So yeah, if there's a season 2 premiere, hopefully see you guys there. Yeah. Or
Yes,
not season
sir.
2, part 2 premiere, sorry.
No, yeah,
Season 2
I
premiere
know what you
was
mean.
way long ago.
Wait, you're in season 2?
Everyone's gonna be like, "Wait, is there an Easter egg? Is Kwon in season?"
We're gonna clip this out. We're gonna post this. Randomly confirmed season 2 of Cobra Kai. They're making a spinoff, and everyone's
Yeah.
gonna analyze it. And you gotta be careful. You never know.
Yeah, dude, seriously, you never know. Like there's been some yeah, people will find a way to, maneuver the content somehow to make it look like a story that it's not.
Yeah, yeah. No, but no, you did good. You didn't give anything away. Don't worry.
Cool.
Don't worry. You tease some exciting stuff without anything. I like the your analogy of the action figures, like seeing the action figures go up against each other. It's like, I mean, that's what we want to see. So it's
Yeah.
like, I guess it's just a matter of like which action figures.
Dude, I'll just tell you there's a bunch of action figures fighting for sure.
Awesome, awesome. We'll have to do
Yeah.
another one of these when part 2 drops.
Let's do it,
So
man. Let's do it. Don't
yeah,
take so
bro.
long next time. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, man.
I won't. No,
I'm just kidding. No, I'm just
you'll
kidding.
no,
I'm
I
just
know
kidding.
you'll be the first one I reach out to.
Cool, man.
Dude, this was a blast. Thank you so much for chatting with me. It was so great, like, learning about you as a person, as an actor, as a martial artist, and like even like seeing your love for film and like the behind the scenes stuff. Like I just think like, just keep doing what you're doing. Like I really like hearing what you're up to, even if like you don't know, like, oh, like even like trying, like you're trying different things out. Which
Mhm.
like that's what I think is awesome. It's not
Mhm.
like, yeah, I'm just doing this and this and this and that's it. Like, rock climbing, dance.
Yeah.
What kind of dance, by the way?
I don't. I've just tried hip hop so far,
Oh,
but I don't know.
cool.
I don't know if I'm gonna stick with it. I'm just doing stuff, you know.
Good for you, bro. That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
I'm sure it'll help with like maybe like the footwork and the martial arts. It all, or maybe you book a role where you have to do hip hop. Like you
Yeah,
never know.
you never
You
know.
never
You
know.
never know. Yeah, for sure, man. Right back at you, man. Keep doing you. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep embracing your weird side. I'm excited to see your films and your music and yeah, man. I can tell you're super passionate for what you do. So I think it's gonna take you a long way, man, for sure.
Thanks, Brandon. I appreciate it.
Thank
And
you.
thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time on Cobra Kai Kid. And until then, remember, can you take us out with the line, Cobra Kai never dies?
Yeah. Oh, you want me to say it?
I want you to say it. Yeah.
Cobra Kai never dies.
That was like the most like Sean Kreese
Yeah,
anime.
I had to. He's my sensei, dude.
Yes, sir.